Infiltrate and try to get whatever information you can get out of it in this case. Though, very quickly, let's see which match we're going to be playing on. Right, everybody, this is a best of 3 series, unlike what you're used to seeing in Europe with overtime on every single map, as is tradition in these sorts of things. And there it is, 2 bands starting off with Gamma. It's Gamma picking Oregon first, Homeless onto Cafe Dostoevsky, and Coastline is our decider. Now, if you look at this pick band phase in general, before we dive into Oregon, does it lean one side or the other, Des?
You know, I always want to say no. Like, I think if you look through the stats, you would say yes. But looking at the maps that have been picked, I think they are fairly balanced maps, and I'm not upset to see any of them. I think it's the best that it ends on Coastline, one of those maps where proximity to site is very low, it's high aggression, it's high octane, it's a lot of gunpowder. That's where this series could really come to a head, I think, whereas the first 2 are a little more strategical, and I think might be determined based on which side you start on.
Well, I mean, I think Oregon and Cafe, yeah, they're both decent maps for both of these teams. I think if it goes to the 3rd map, that's where it might swing, because Coastline is a map that Homeless particularly dislike. They don't go there. The only time that they've played it in the last few months, they lost. Every other map they seem to be fairly confident on, and Oregon and Cafe are 2 of their most played and most successful maps. So I think it's going to actually really depend on whether we do end up going to that 3rd map.
Okay, in that case, let's focus a bit more on Oregon. So we talked about Gamma, at least Hap was mentioning it, you know, that they're a team that sometimes performs immensely and then sometimes just what is going on. This is something that we've seen over the past few seasons in their performance. I'm wondering today what do they really need to play on the right level of consistency against Homeless that have really surprised a lot of people, Des?
Yeah, I think for Gamma, you look back at their match history, they lost on this map 4-7 to Windstrike, and everyone's probably looking at that and going, these boys aren't really that good on Oregon. To be fair, they lost to Windstrike, the best team in the group, or I suppose were until they got knocked out by Kavarnak. Yeah, were is the big kind of like precursor to that statement, I think. That game for me was a little bit wobbly. I had a chat to Leonsky as well, and he said as well, like, you know, that really wasn't a good game for us. There were a lot of mistakes that were being made. We weren't at ourselves that day, so just don't write it off, but keep in the back of your minds that was a thing. So watching it back, I saw a lot of that happening. There are still good things in my mind they can do, so I'm not too worried about them going into it. I think they can do well, especially given, well, less so given that they start on the attack. I think that could be where Homeless could cause an upset.
Gio, final thought, Oregon, how do you see this going?
It's hard to judge because a lot of what Homeless are good at is about taking advantage of weaknesses and jumping in, and I don't know how much Oregon is going to allow them to do that, but I think it could go either way.
All right. Gamma, that's what you say?
I'm not sitting on the fence like Gio. I'm going straight for Gamma. I ain't afraid.
I am.
Fence sitters, don't we all love them? Gio, Des, thank you so much for the details and the information. Though we have to toss it over to our casters. Gamma vs. Homeless is ready. Our second best of 3 series, of last one in the quarterfinals, is about to begin, and it's Oregon. Fluke and Hap, please take it away. Enjoy.
Thank you, Milos, as we are heading into that last quarterfinal here today into Oregon. And it's going to be a matchup here because it's Gamma, the guys that come so close so often but never really were able to close it out, against Homeless, who are still looking for a home. So if you are a org owner and would like to invest, hey, these guys are free to pick up.
Yeah, they're there, advertising themselves right now, and I guess, well, now's your time, center stage. And you are the final team from Group B that has the potential of completely sweeping throughout this half and this side and this playthrough. Nice little use of each other's cheers there. We saw some Polska Groms coming out from the Gamma guys, and we saw some
little asterisks right now.
Little asterisks. I think they're clear in the chat. I think
that's my password.
I think they're clear in the chat.
They might be. They might be.
But hey,
all right.
It's last hope, the Benelux boys, for Group A.
They're the last team standing. The last opportunity for Group A to be victorious. Because Group B has swiped the floor with every single one of them. From Windstrike going down straight away to Google Drives now being at risk from our boy the Nab.
I mean, you say our boy the Nab.
It's my... Well, I mean, have you disowned him as UK? Because otherwise it's just my boy.
The thing about Sternab he's a champion of beans. You cannot deny Sternab's championing of beans. But at the same time, he seems like he really doesn't want to be part of the UK Massive. I think he's been disowned by the UK many times.
He can be part of Benelux first. That's okay.
Yeah,
he can.
I think he wants to be.
We take him happily.
Yeah. Hey, and a ban phase.
He's adopted now.
Maverick, Thatcher, Kaid, and Wamai gone for this Oregon. A fairly standard removal in what is a heavy utility game at this moment in time. So we're going to have, I'm assuming, a pretty standard story here. But the difference is, for those who are unaware of Homeless and have somehow just tuned in at this point, they've had a really good season. For me, out of all the teams possible to show up and show force and kind of show a bit of a performance from the National League to a situation where we might not have really known them before, well, you know them now. Obviously, we've talked about, and they talked about on the desk, Mexis being such a huge force, the top-rated player out of everybody in this league, and I am curious to see if he can keep going.
That is the question. Is he going to be able to keep it up here? Because I read his notes, and they said, kill Mexis, you win game. As simple as that. It's a very, very deep analysis coming through right there. But we'll see if it's true. We'll see if that is indeed correct for putting him on the spot right here. As quickly we saw Monty being teased by Deepak, but instantly got picked out. And of course you can know if you follow this team for a longer amount of time.
Yeah.
That when it's not a Fudge playing the Monty, it is not happening. So when it's Deepak 6 picking it in, or out rather, you know that it's
you giving that strategy?
I mean,
doing the reverse
other team cannot see who chose what. No, the reveal phase doesn't say
no, I know,
which
but it's a
player
chat.
has which.
If chat, if
Yes,
they ever
I
end
am.
up
I'm
screaming.
putting the strats all in public so everybody can understand why sometimes they 6-pick out of it and sometimes they don't.
Technically your job, and mine is to talk about this. The push that's starting here from blue. The fairly standard and familiar. The one change could potentially be the aggression that's currently demonstrated in the Tower of Mexis. Now you can play this quite aggro in that you can put against it, but leaning so quickly into that potential firefight instead of waiting in potential Harry Potter or not having anybody in blue too is going to potentially cause him problems here. That's going to give the game away that the pressure's coming. He might get caught out in the moment in the rotation, but he's not going to swing up just yet. Instead, he's going to, by the looks of it, push deeper into blue. Try and just find the angle, find some safety and solidity, and hope that no one swings around from behind because he's a little bit isolated right now with nobody inside elbow. Although I say that, it looks like someone may have rotated round during that time to offer some support. The call is there, they know where they need to be. Foster has a bit of a cover, and the spray comes out from Mexis, who has obviously the shield to hide behind, but as the ADSs get burned, it's going to become a steadily dicier position to hold on to.
As soon as that shield will blow up, his position will be compromised, and there's really no way he can go. Deepak is looking to come over, a set of Excaros deployed. The smoke already faded, so a new smoke will be tossed in and surely will be followed up with a Selma. Foster trying to shoot it off will succeed in doing so that wall will stay closed for now. And the question is, Gamma, how much more utility are you going to be tossing into this right here? There is a Nomad being brought, of course, having the opportunity to use those air jabs to waste the ADSs as he runs in with a double kill. Maxis will be able to come down before he gets traded down, and it's Foster to go down now as well. We're in a 1v3 situation actually with just Leonsky left. It's a very quick end of the round here as Homeless pick up round number 1.
Well, they threw themselves at the potential problem, but unfortunately the problem is Mexis. The positioning he held throughout most of it. As I said, he might be caught adrift and ajar if the pressure comes from standard places, but instead, Gamma went 3, 2, 1, go, threw themselves down the hatch and at the stairs at the same time, and unfortunately for them, there was more than enough of a net made up of the guns and the crosshairs of the defenders. Homeless take a round in a pretty solid, standard, decisive way, and the surprise strike of Gamma was unfortunately nowhere near as surprising as they hoped. Kids' Dorms is where we're going to head to next. Clash being baited out and rotated off to a smoke, but no change from the guns of Gamma. They are happy and confident with what they lent in with.
First round to Homeless. Gamma indeed, they look confident with doing it. Maybe it was a bit of jump in the gun because there was still some time left to try and make something else work. But they tried to get too much done from that one hatch whilst there was still a player in the hallway denying every single piece of utility being tossed at them. And that is a lesson to be learned, something they can use in their coming round when they should be going back downstairs again, which is probably going to be round number 4, meaning it's not too impactful. Now, as Powers accidentally throws down his C4. It's always
as a Goyo.
So I know the struggle.
Yeah.
That's the eternal struggle as the Goyo, because you're used that your shield is also on the secondary gadget. But with Goyo, it's just C4.
Yeah.
Just got to be careful not to accidentally press the button again.
If you've done that as a Goyo player, everybody has done that as a Goyo player. That is what you do from any echelon and any tier. Especially, it's probably worse if you're more used to just defaulting in this game. Like Dez, where he defaulted a throw earlier and sent it to the wrong place. If you're so used to pressing a button and having a result, having a slightly different result is always a bit of a change. Gamma, pushing intense pressure here towards Royal, does obviously have the Banshee on the corner to make sure that the rotation won't be as quick or as smooth as Gamma wish. The drones are being dropped either way, but they're just going to wait and hold the kitchen angle and hope someone actually peeks onto them. Royal is still just dancing around the meeting hall, has the possibility of impacting the hatch and dropping if they feel like they need to escape in a hurry, but that's always one of those concerns if Gamma might have it locked up. Hey, they're right there. Astro baited the position and popped some bullets towards someone else swinging, doubling up, with Panics covering an angle and the possibility of the attention here, so that frees them to open their own movement.
Just created a rotation here for Maxis to try and come and assist, meaning that the hatch will remain closed. So now Foster will be rotating back up slowly from the white stairs. And there is a little bit of a danger though, because you want to be clearing out the meeting hall. However, if there is still people above on that attic, it's going to be easy to be covered. As Royal now drops through, he'll be rotating all the way around, but I believe one person is actually near the white stairs window, or at least in the hallway, meaning that Royal is not going to be allowed to freely rotate out. Avige is holding it, and as he jumps out or walks out, surely will be picked up. No, Avige just went off the angle at the moment he crossed. We'll be able to not pick up the kill right now. Goes to the repeat though, and we'll be able to find the head of Royal. 60 seconds left. That is the entry frag, but not much control besides that.
Mexi's waiting for any approach through meeting, but nobody is there as of yet. Astro has instead rotated alongside everybody else, seemingly, as they go towards the walk-in push. Late in the game with just under a minute left, but nobody is currently playing countenance towards the balance that they want to put through here. Deepak's going to put the pressure on underneath, and everything they've got to do here is going to be very pacey, because there's always the concern. Obviously, this is going to be played back against. There's no jammers there, thanks to the Zephyr underneath, but here's the wall being opened. 30 seconds left as Foster swings towards walk-in. A canister pops, the first of 3, and there's the spray as Avige goes down. In and amongst the rotation there, everything becoming very dangerous in the center. Panics has been able to slip through, but the shield might give a bit of a game away. It's the gun that actually wins it out of 4 versus 2, 15 seconds. The hum of the Banshee gives a lot more away. There's a drop towards the Jaeger, who was off-piste and went for something bold, but now it's just a matter of holding angles and shutting Ryber out. Every way is covered by a gun. The C4 goes for a swing, shot out by the air. Deepak's behind you, and there is a round to Gamma.
That C4 that was tossed in a little bit earlier and maybe even able to detonate, that round would have been won by Homeless there. And then you're looking at it and it looks like, all right, you got your first kill almost on the minute mark. You managed to catch off a roamer with still one being on the board, but there was no control. Nothing was opened up yet, Fluke. Not even a walk-in closet, not even attic. They only started to do that with the 50-second mark, and it was just enough time for them to actually get in, clean everybody up, and try and go for that plant. But as soon as one thing goes wrong, as soon as one player is playing there with impact, suddenly you're not going to be able to open up that wall as effectively as you did. Maybe you're not even able to be able to enter that site. So, like, time management, it is good, but if something goes wrong, it will go really wrong.
Now then, obviously Mexis found himself a little bit adrift throughout the round there. He was holding and waiting onto meeting for a very long time and potentially took a chance and what was a little bit of misaligned initiative to throw himself out and try and pull something back from the only range he really could. But at that point, that was, as he said, a bit of a read, a bit of a rotation, and a bit of a slipping away from Homeless's ideas. They are going to keep themselves rotating. They're not going to find a stale positioning up here on dorms. Instead, they're going to just hold it and try to lock down beneath as they rotate to their tertiary site here. The extension into shower is the standard way. It costs a huge amount of utility to take. but it seems like they're actually just going to have it as a close angle instead, not have the immediate rotation, which sometimes you see it played quite often, and sometimes you see it played in a similar way as you fall back, as if you're doing onto elbow, where it can be a rotation at first and keep the possibility of reinforcing it just after, make them spend a huge amount of utility to get it, and then just lock it off. Put it as something where it was territory that they needed to fight for, and at this point, if you do it well, it's territory that they gain a lot less with.
Just want to say, this would be one of those sites where Glass, for example, could be useful. Many are afraid of him since the new patch. However, we haven't really seen him yet in Challenger League or above. We have seen him in French League being used by BDS, but besides that, not really the big impact yet that people might expect. Because that is a default termite trick. Wasn't necessary in the end, considering they left the wall soft. Smart choices. There is no way you can counter that except for playing a player upstairs in the small tower, which is a suicide mission. And thus both exothermics will be used to create verticals and open up a hole here as well. That's a long angle created by it. Astro will be able to pick up one kill, panics as well into Maxis, and suddenly you lose 2 players. There is still Ruba, however, playing right behind the showers. Now it's actually ours playing around here, but it's a very interesting angle we saw being created there by that termite charge.
Yeah, that was a really well played and placed thing. Obviously practiced and prepped inside the days in your customs, and now you're able to actually bring some momentum with it. Ours has rotated his way into the shower to try and hold on, but the concern from above is well placed, as Leonski is ever watching. Pings and pops the shield, and well, that's just going to give a bit of a game away, but there's still all the ADSs, still a huge amount of utility burn inside, as you can hear the flashes start to attempt to cost it all through. It's actually going to be the swing out that gets attempted, but shut down with the trade as Evation takes over the territory. Now a second, as they find themselves in a 4 versus 1. Ryber, well, the man with the fancy spectacles, has rotated to a very good aggressive position, strikes on one, but the cover is there. In Gamma, 2 in a row.
When you're in a 1v4 situation like that, there is 2 things you can do. You can either hide in safety, hope you can shut down the planter and stall out enough time, or you can go aggressive like that and try and sneak between the ranks, sneak inside of them and make sure that you're going to be able to pick up 1, 2, and maybe even more from there on as you sow confusion between them. But it didn't work this time around, and Gamma are in front. They are leading. It's 2-1 currently. After a very good attack there onto the showers. I really like that angle. Able to shut down the shield player straight away. And now we are going back to Laundry, where Gamma tossed all the utility into a bottomless pit, it seemed like, as everything was being taken care of by the defenders. Holding it is something they need to improve on. Maybe we see a more heavy focus towards the elbow area without having to put pressure down onto the position that Maxis was playing. Or we could go completely off the rails here and we could go for a Laundry Freezer push.
I am curious if they attempt anything around Freezer, because what we saw before was their rotation and their positioning didn't have to move a huge amount. Obviously, we saw Maxis fall down a little, and we saw somebody rotate into elbow to back them up after they left a little bit isolated and not as intently covered as you often see teams who just say, let's put 2 people in elbow from start and play that till finish. But if there is pressure that comes against Laundry, if there is pressure that comes against Freezer, are we going to see some good adaptation here from Homeless? Because we know Gamma can be a very adaptive strike force. They can be very good at kind of realizing a plot, realizing a plan, and then applying the pressure when and where they need to. If they read a weakness, they can just take it apart. We saw it in the second round when they put some pressure onto Meeting, realized there was not any give there from that point onwards, and with only a minute left, completely swung their way to the other half of the map to try and take the pressure there. Astro here looking to lead in the same way they did before, as they make sure that this staircase is clear and make sure there's nothing that's going to stop this. The wall and the Banshee being cleared, and that route becoming a much easier time.
It's not just the Banshee, also the barbed wire that is normally being located on the stairs right here. Oh, actually, this time it will stay. Not too big of a deal. Will slow you down. Not as massively as, of course, the Banshee will do, but it's definitely going to be felt by the players if they would go for a push. A second breach round will be used just to take care of that one set of barbed wire right there, and that might indicate that they're looking to go for an aggressive play down the stairs together with the hatch this time. Reba looking to play underneath that hatch, hoping to put up some pressure as soon as it will open up, but there's no Maverick as it got banned, of course. And there goes the shield, actually. Max is taking a lot of damage. Has to be careful now.
Different focus, different approach this time. As we kind of predicted, more pressure around blue to open this up. Last time they threw themselves down pretty much entirely from the staircase and the hatch. This time they've slightly diversified their push, applied some pressure towards those bodies inside blue and elbow first, before they start their collapse. They have plenty of time, and Mexis is in a very tricky situation here because he's very low health. The bullets are pepped and prepped and popped, and unfortunately Royal is the one that's able to swing round and get it. There's not enough cover, not enough intent, and unfortunately nowhere near enough explosions happening on this wall. Another chance, another swing, but there's another gun that's trying to get it. There it is. One hole is made. This is a huge amount of utility being spent here. Deepak is still droning and waiting. He hopes for a body to get a little bit looser and a little bit more aggressive, but Royal is free so far to move up quite deep into that corridor and pinch and push. There is finally a man who cost a huge amount of utility to get out of just a single position. But hey, look at Freezer. There's a couple of drones making its way down, and I'm sure if we go a little bit further, there's a blue body too.
One there in the freezer will be moving back up as Aris going for an aggressive peek. Vite will go down and Foster and Aris will be rotating back, knowing that the rest of the push will be coming down from the northern side. There's only 20 seconds left, and that means they need to enter soon. They have some good control here, however they do not have the angle to open up yet, and I'm doubting that there is going to be any utility left to try and open that up with, as Aris picks up yet another kill in these last dying seconds. C4s are being tossed out. Leonski needs to go for a plan, but as the last smoke canister gets used, there won't be any time as Deepak comes in from the side. Will not be enough. Foster and Aris able to close it out here for Homeless, so they managed to yet again win laundry supply.
A slight evolution of what Gamma wanted to apply here, a slight change towards the wind, and what I really wanted and I saw and I appreciated was Homeless's response. The two-body aggro push when they isolated a single idea of, hey, someone's here, let's go take them out, because if we leave that later, what Gamma like to do is apply multiple different pressure points from multiple different angles at the same time. They do it very quickly, very aggressively, and it does make it very hard to isolate exactly where the true pressure is coming from, exactly what you need to focus on when the comms are just screaming, they're here, they're here, they're here. Well, how do you solve that? You try and get rid of that clutter earlier on, and Homeless did that perfectly. Pushed themselves towards the freezer body, took control of this area again, took another potential pinch and point and push of pressure out of the guns of Gamma, and said, well, now we can focus back on objective A, which is this other half and the other four bodies. Dorms was another one of those problems, another one of those situations where the quick rotation and adaptation came through for Gamma after they couldn't quite get a body elsewhere, and I'm curious to see where Mexis ends up playing this time. Hasn't been able to be the huge impact player in terms of guns as of yet, and as he's been throughout most of the season, but also his positioning. I think he's having a little couple of moments where he hasn't quite been in the game that we all know and expect from him.
He's been caught off more than he would like to. He's going to attempt to spawn peek. Now we'll be missing the shots, and at no means that the position has been, well, of course, given away to the likes of Gamma. Not be picked up by that spawn kill or spawn peek, at least for now. There's Foster rotating around the stairs, thinking about going up or down, not quite sure yet, and it looks like down it will be. Has to be careful, however, as Astro is coming in with a drone. We'll surely be checking those. Ooh, leaves it up on the stairs right there. The question is someone watching it? Yes, he is, but he's missing the shots, and Foster able to pick up the entry kill right here. Homeless able to take down the Ash early on, which is also a big utility operator.
Well played there from Foster. Last time we saw a much more reserved hold onto the stage. This time, no. They pushed themselves past beyond, kept themselves mobile, and were able to take out one of Gamma before they even began to enter onto the site. You lose Astro, you lose your Ash, you lose a big burst of utility, and, well, the entry trade. Now Foster has set himself up with a little bit of a different hold where he lost his life last time round. This time, he has a little bit more working for him in that he's not completely run out into Zulu yet. He watches the drone go by, tries to pop it, but can't quite, so gets popped instead. Deepak with a double as Royal joins in the fray, and now they hunt for the Jaeger that they know is playing around this kitchen area. They've rotated off to meeting with the impact trick that they played before, so they have an escape route. They're hoping that this hatch gets popped sooner rather than later by Ours above, but Ours Well, he doesn't quite have the ability to play it yet, so he's just going to wait and hold on to the C4. And Mex is actually just going to find his way back outside of Split and actually rotate round Zulu.
An opportunity here to come into the side as a fight, just holding off for now. The question is, will they have drones available to try and find Max? As they are with 2. That means if he will be picked up, there is an opportunity to go for a refrag, unless you get droned out like that. Needs to go aggressive, picks up 1 and finds his way back to the bottom floor. At least will stay on the freezer stairs for now, as he knows, of course, pressure would be coming down soon. It turns it into a 3-on-3 situation. That is the most important part, and Deepak still worrying about the kitchen, but no one is there anymore yet. They need to hit the site soon. Look at the time. There's only 35 seconds left, and only Leonski is currently busy with droning stuff out, but there is no control. No one in attic, no one in armory, no one in the bedrooms, and that means that Maxis is allowed to just freely come back to the site and turn this into a full 3-on-3 skirmish.
You think about it, with only 20 seconds left, there's not even really the time to pop off your ex-Kairos, so everything you've got to do is got to be aggressive and got to be through the openers that you've already made. Leonski's applying some pressure here around the corner as they watch the door. Mexis goes for a wide swing but gets caught out by the body on top. There's the lockdown. Only 5 seconds though, and Ryber has the C4 as an answer to Deepak, who tries to swing in. Leonski is going to try and stick it with the Nomad offering a bit of cover support, but the cover support comes around the corner. There it is. The Dorm's rotation leads to success, and Homeless find themselves in their lead.
There's only one angle you could have watched there, and well, unfortunately, the one through attic came first. And Homeless, they find themselves in the lead, as you just said, 3-on-2. Gamma, however, they already get the attack rounds in that you would need for a decent health. So if they manage to pick up Meeting Hall Kitchen again, which is the tertiary bomb site, they find themselves in a 3-3 split, which is a really good position to be in as an attacking team. Especially going over to that defense, which we have seen to be quite creative against Windstrike. And keep in mind, against Windstrike, they won 4 defensive rounds, I believe, but they weren't able to win a single attacking round. So they're already doing better than they were the last time around when they were in Oregon here. They just need to keep it up now when they go over to the defense.
Well, instead of going for the site that very quickly fell away from them, they've opted for Meeting instead. A fair change. To be honest, everything really didn't seem like it. Out of all of the rounds, it was the least controlled, it's fair to say. And I guess it's Gamma who've obviously not had the best time over the past 2. And for me, it's led from the aggression that Homeless have decided to start to opt into. Instead of waiting on their usual holds and haunts and waiting for the guns of Gamma to fall against them, at least not counting, obviously, the laundry site, we're seeing them be a little bit more adaptive and reactive to the map itself. They're swinging into Gamma before Gamma really expect it. A team that thrives and builds on information and quick reaction to it. Well, when you're taken by surprise by a team that took a lot of these teams by surprise, it leads to positive results, as Homeless have proved now. Can they find the lock-off? Can they find their 4th before they have to try and attack what is the map and the place and the base of Gamma? Only time will tell.
I see a shower reinforcement to come through. However, of course, no follow-up, considering we're on a different bomb site. We are on the Meeting Hall this time around, meaning there will be a more heavy emphasis onto that top floor, which Astro now tries to challenge. But unfortunately for him, not able to pick up the early kill onto Royal, who's moving himself all the way over to the back of the attic to play behind the top. Try and put some pressure on from there. However, the danger is that as soon as Leonski has an opportunity to open that one up from below, or from the back, he is stuck between a rock and a hard place. But it doesn't matter as he picks up the first kill onto Astro. The fight, however, not seeming too worried about that angle being reused.
Astro losing the opener yet again is an unfortunate statistic that has grown, as we've seen again the aggression of Homeless start to build up and thrive. Leonski applying the breach to the second story and making sure they get this popped open. Obviously they're rolling with the thermite, with the expectation on the third site of being able to play the thermite trick here, though. It still has its uses as they get control of attic, get this top locked down, and now have to try and lock down the second story. It's the push against a very terrifying Ella. Dug in on a corner where there's a lot of ADS, a shield, and just a lot of problems, as you can see Gamma rotating around the rest of the bodies have stacked themselves up towards the White Stairs side. They know that they can hold this with a little bit of a penchant of distance. They can swing onto the long corridor of the kitchen if they need to, but here is where the next fight will break down. As I said, trying to get this Ela into a less comfortable position is going to be the balance of these walls being popped on the back of stage. She's a little bit out in the open right now, and she might get caught here from a wide swing and an angle. Leonski's looking for the possibility and the promise of potentially catching something out here, with Panics lying down and holding the angle too. There's the drone intel, there's the idea, there's a swing into it as Ours goes full aggression here, and, well, thinks for a second about swinging all the way around the corner. Doesn't quite make the decision as of yet, and hops behind the reverse of the shield that is finally shut down by Panics, who looks for a second, and Leonski is able to actually find one in and amongst the bodies. Split is shut down there as Deepek and Leonski find one apiece. And Gamma suddenly struck, but they did it with a lot of panache to find themselves even on the turn of the half.
Very quickly dismantled the aggression there that Homeless wanted to bring. I'm not sure if you noticed, but Deepek was about to be jumping in from that window to try and challenge the Ela when Maxis, I believe, jumped out from, I believe that must have been Kid's window. Was able to pick up that kill, take a little bit of damage, and after that, the Ela was immediately picked up. And what is this? Are we seeing the frost coming down? It's not a Vite, so I'm expecting it to be 6 picked out by Leonski.
And it is.
Aha.
You know who plays what, why, and when. Ever thought about getting into analysis?
Isn't that what I'm supposed to be doing a little bit now as well?
Oh, yeah. Hey, kids, Storm me hole. Hey, Twitch on the board. Twitch was a point of discussion quite recently in terms of we don't obviously see her a huge amount. She has a great gun. There's no denying it. The F2 is a heck of a beast. And at the same time, her gadget can have its moments and its mobility. But for a team paying attention, for the risk and reward payoff of a lot of the dynamics of the modern meta is how do you crack an egg without really having to be inside the egg? Is you throw a lot of explosives at the backside of it and hope you can find a way through. Obviously, with Thatcher being a continual ban, teams got a bit creative with explosives, teams got a bit creative with vertical, and teams occasionally got a bit creative with a Kali. Here, though, Twitch, she's rare on this scene in this game, in this economy burst, so whenever you do see her, it's a little bit of a treat, and Foster is going to be the one that's bringing it, not hiding the culpability and possibility of these drones, and I'm just, again, curious to see how much success an operator who is slightly dusty will have.
It is an operator with a gadget, which is good for the long game, right? You have the opportunity to take down 3 gadgets early on, park your drone somewhere where it will most likely not be spotted, and then go back in the actual execution phase. For example, temporarily disable the Banshees or put down some of those Evil Eyes, because you have the recharging effect, and that's something that EMPs do not have. Like, they disable the gadgets, and that's it. Whilst the Twitch has the actual opportunity of taking care of some of these, which are, of course, these Bender batteries, as you see right now, and also one of these ADSs to be removed. However, it now has to recharge, as 3 have been used. The question, however, is, are they aware of the fact that the wall has already been opened up, and there's only 1 set of ADSs left?
That's it. This is the use that's quite clever, because, as I said, usually when a Twitch is on the board, teams will be aware of the game, but if you have a solid idea of where they're going to be holding themselves and where they're going to be putting these ADSs and it's a locked off position, well, look at that. Look at the results. Look at how much quicker and easier that is than a lot of other things of Aish. Maybe taken a bit by surprise by how quickly that was popped. And now that shield with a minute 30 is gone, and that's all just going to have to be swings and information. You have the barbs, you know when they might push against it or at least try and crack it open, and it's a dangerous time, but with the cover from the window you're expecting, it could be a very quick burst here.
Max is opening up in Classroom, will surely be using one of those breaching rounds to make sure that if there is a bandit trying to trick, that he can be challenged. There is currently no wire active on that walk-in closet wall. But surely that will change soon. Maxis will be opening up right here. They will be putting up a little bit of pressure towards Panics, who will fall back. He doesn't seem to be too worried about it as he puts down the wire right now. He's going to be able to stop the breaches to come through, at least on one side. However, the breach will still come through on the other, and that means he now has to try and challenge. Is in a very dangerous position as the S-charge of Maxis might be coming from below. Actually, not the case. A Vite will be picked up by Royal to start things off, and that leaves Gamma in a very peculiar spot, I would say.
They're able to find one there, and Mexis is going to try and swing on and get a bit of revenge. The flashes come through, but unfortunately a missed bounce means it only really pushes them further back. And Bandit is able to lie there and pick up the second. Gets even closer, even more aggressive, and hopes to try and catch them a bit by surprise. Oh no. It did work. The scope, by the looks of it, was lined up perfectly with a Bandit that has moved forward further and further territory they take, and now it's only really a great gun left in the hands of the F2 as Foster tries to find some exit, but unfortunately can't even find one against Deepek, who locks down the first round for Gamma and pulls them once again into the lead.
Really like where Penix there was from the couch first, waited till someone was actually in the walk-in closet, stood up, took the kill, went prone next to the breach, waited for the next one to come in, took him out, just jumped over the breach, went prone there again, because then he would be the thing is, your scope housing blocks someone that is prone underneath you. So if you're aiming for the place where he just was, you should be able to see him. But if he moved forward, your housing will block that line of sight. So you're not going to be able to see him. That way, Panix was able to basically win 3 gunfights time and time again.
If anything, I think, depending on how much time you put into Sugar Fright, you should be aware of a lot of people lying around in corners and camping and holding angles. At least that's my experience so far. Have you played much of Sugar Fright? A couple of games?
Played a couple of games, and I've just seen like Power Rangers running through everywhere, like not being afraid.
A lot of the own spawn. I am really curious what the highest KD we'll see on this game mode.
Would you like to see a competitive game of Sugar Fright?
No, I just want to know like what numbers is like, Shaiko putting down in Sugar Fright.
That would be interesting.
Imagine
like 50 on 0 or something, I don't know.
You told me that, I would be like, probably. I don't know, chat. What's the highest numbers that you guys have been able to drop? I enjoy the game mode because I get to feel like I'm a competent entry. And I'm like, is this how Ashe mains feel all the time? Is this why people bring the R4C? Maybe I'll be converted from my hard destruction duties. Either way, hard destruction duties. One of the things probably worth talking about is the lineups here. Gamma, pretty consistently, and every single round bought 2 methods of hard destruction. They balanced between the Habana and the Ace. The options were there without the Maverick, who is a big force for a lot of teams here with the frag grenade. So instead, they doubled down on being able to crack open the site. Here, we're only seeing the single use and a single run from Homeless. They're setting themselves up way more so far for this utility game and focusing way more on very particular push points. And I'm curious to see if that becomes something that might start costing them more than anything else. Obviously, the Twitch is back again for the second drone as they try and apply the pressure from 2 sides. Blue and Elbow is the first, and then obviously Freezer seems to be the second. Ryber's tempted to try and apply a body down towards the laundry stairs, but for now it's just offering the drone support towards the Freezer push.
See how many people are in Freezer right here, and just look at that mirror window that Leonski has. The only worry he has at this moment is that the hatch is opened up and that drones are still coming through. And there we go, very long range coming through will actually deny the mirror window from existing, and it keeps moving through. Takes down the ADS of Deepek now as well, but the Vite is going to be able to land the first kill onto Foster onto those back stairs. So the entry is there for Gamma, however their push and security towards the Freezer side has completely vanished.
Now, as the approach comes around, 1:20, and a canister's popped quite early this time around. They want to stop the approach of ours, who's rotated to double up here onto the laundry side with Ryber. They have some eyes, some angles in the cross, but look at the attention that Gamma is now playing, even moving shields. When they realize the pressure's not coming onto Blue and has rotated round, they rotated too. Another misthrown flash. Mexis is really struggling to hook those around the corner right now. There's the pickup. There's now 3 bodies as they tag themselves in, and Ryber comes down with these frag grenades, hoping to start popping people out. If they can loop this one perfectly, they might be able to get Astro from a pretty impressive swing, but it goes too deep. Doesn't get the shields of Panics that wasn't quite burned away. 40 seconds. The pressure has to start coming. All guns blazing right now as they set themselves up with the angle, but the mirror's still in the corner, dug in. Leonski is hoping for success, still has a C4 in pocket, but the attentions of man hopped up onto a laundry device. Now it's Royal doubling up as Ryber finds one across Leonski. The beeping is continual, but Panics is the next to suffer. 4 versus 2 is instantly dropped round, but it's just the man inside the cabinet. 20 seconds, a shotgun is not enough. Royal with a stormer of a round.
Mirror really coming into play right here as Royal just cuts himself through these sights. have to say the Twitch taking down that one mirror window basically put Leonski into a very, well, bad position, I have to say. Yes, he was hidden for a long time. Yes, he had the opportunity to take down these players in laundry if they would be pushing forward. However, there was one in freezer, of course, but there was one in laundry, on top of the laundry device, able to put down some pressure onto him, take him down eventually as well. That leaves us at the 4-4 mark, where Gamma decides to run it back. We're going to laundry supply again. Same setup coming through. The mirror will be picked up, not 6 picked out. And the Goya, however, will in the end. What will it be? Quick. Goya.
It's Goya. It's Goya.
Let's go to Goya.
That's a Sterner big brain plan, if I've ever seen one before.
All right. Are we going to see the same push happening, though? Look at Deepak, by the way. 11 on 4 so far in 8 rounds. Really showing up huge.
Yeah, but obviously ours isn't too far behind and doesn't really foster. And to me, Mexis, that hasn't been able to have the impact that they usually do. If Gamma is kind of thankful for anything right now, I think it's that Mexis hasn't quite hit usual pace and usual numbers. Again, the reminder as he was statistically the best player out of everybody across this season, across all of the teams. So to have the statistical best player having a little bit of an off game and an off moment, that's a breath and a wind and a bit of hope for Gamma right now. And yet they're still 4-4, homeless with an adaptation where they threw themselves through a very precise moment. They've stacked themselves to get a bit of a quick clear here in a similar manner, in a similar way. There is a bit of a rotation from Panics with a proximity who is waiting for someone to just try and face check it, but that's not really the MO as the drone is caught first. He's going to hang around, throw a proximity out, and play it hyper aggressively as he looks for another drone.
Just tries to put down some pressure here, Fluke, hoping to be hunted really, only to fall back and bait them into Leonski, who was playing in the same corner again. This time there is no mirror window on that spot, but I'm not sure if they actually have one still in pocket. There is no Twitch this time coming down on the side of Homeless, and no, the mirror window is not in pocket. It has been, oh, it's just been placed. All right, so he had it in pocket, but he just placed it now, as there won't be any Twitch, so that means the mirror window will be relatively safe. Just has to be careful of people jumping on that laundry machine again, because that is an angle you can actually open up that mirror window from.
The C4 is baited, but the play was the swing, and Royal, who was a big force towards the round just before, isn't quite able to open it up in similar fashion. The pressure has rotated itself round as Avaish digs himself into Harry Potter and waits for a little bit more attention, but the burn of utility is going towards Astro, and Deepak throws one more smoke canister to cover the push here and is potentially going to reinforce it. There it goes. That just stops them pushing and applying the instant pressure here. Avaish, though, they are very cut off from anyone else. Goes for a mad dash run and gets lucky to not be caught on phase 1, but as if you're playing Metal Gear, you've got a solid snake your way a little bit further. Pops a C4 that catches nobody. Now there's pressure onto the staircase too. Avaish somehow slips through yet another firing line, firing range, and takes a breath and takes a life. Ours is shut down, and they're going to swing themselves back around towards Pillar and hopefully take a bit of surprise on the close punch here. There is a body on the far side. They hear the pops and the bullets and the swings. There's the shield that goes down. They don't need to aggro this as of yet. But with the pings towards the possibility of utility and the possibility of a catch over the throw, they need to burn this before they go. The drone is steadily working its way towards whoever's on the back line as the mirror window gets popped around. There is a man separated by a very thin wall here. Whoever reacts first is going to be the one that takes this, but do they know Avaish is here? That is the question. It's probably going to be answered sooner rather than later.
Meantime, rotation coming through. One person on the likes of Homeless is going to be putting down some pressure onto the freezer, as you see, but Panics makes quick care of that one as breaching rounds will be tossed in. Avaish gets the opportunity to go for the drop, will be able to get one kill and has to push through right now. The diffuser will be cancelled, however, as he will be taken down now by Avaish, who rotates back into the side, swats over to the RG-15, but with the amount of time that is left, this should be a round here for Gamma. They were able to keep Avaish alive, who came in clutch in 2 of these moments here, but also credits to Panics, who managed to catch the freezer rotate in time, which basically left Homeless no other choice than to just jump in and plant.
Gotta give credit to Solid Snake there. Avaish, he was able to slip through a lot of places there he otherwise probably shouldn't be. as the roaming guards couldn't quite catch him. It's just the wind, they believe. Dorm's main hall, 5-4 Gamma, step for step, but only just between these two teams. Obviously, it's the best of three, and obviously it's a situation now where Homeless are putting a lot of a fight here. The bait is the Frost to the Maestro. Kids Dorms is going to be the change up as we obviously move away from Laundry. Not going to play a tertiary yet, but if you get this, well, that's going to be your map point either way. So it's very close to the wire here. Homeless can apply a little bit more pressure. I want to see their plan B. They're so adept usually at having a plan A and having a plan B attack. We've seen it from them throughout a lot of the season, where even if something's successful, they'll look for an adaptation. Here was unsuccessful, so I'm curious to see where the adaptation lies.
Gotta keep in mind that Twitch drone is back on the board again after losing a round. Homeless bringing it back. It was very successful here. Managed to get both the Bennett wires and managed to get both the ADSs as well. Meaning that Avich had to fall back earlier than he might have wanted to. Now, the question is, will someone be playing around the area? Are they going to be doing something to play around it? For example, a mute could have been brought. You could have been taking care of that Twitch problem you've had with just a mute, especially downstairs, having the opportunity to make sure that the Twitch drones aren't allowed to freely move as they were. But also to keep in mind, they didn't use any hard breach denial on the previous map. Oh, there we go. This time it's being watched. Very good, very good. As that allows them to at least keep control of Attic a little bit longer than expected.
Yeah, there's an adaptation. Hey, the Twitch drone caused us problems this time. We could use a mute. No, I'm going to do it. Are you sure? Yep. Panics is going to do it. Because to be honest, a person playing in that situation isn't the rarest thing. For a lot of teams, sometimes they'll double up with those ADSs, have someone attempt to trick it. It becomes very dangerous because as soon as they apply pressure underneath, well, you'll get locked out and shut out. So Deepek is playing underneath to buy Panics some time. They could try and burn things over the shoulder and see if they can burn those ADSs from the highway window. But otherwise, as long as Deepek is alive underneath, it's a great situation. So you can see the stack up of Homeless here as they try and get underneath control. He has a drop off and a rotation, the ability to get out of there if he needs to be after some potential pressure. But there might be someone pushing split as well, which I think was the read there as he went, I need to get out of there. But oh no, Ryber gets the drone information there, sees the body of Deepek moving, who is, well, revealed. Might not know that someone is that close, so he backs himself into a cupboard. Has, I believe, the ability to still open a rotation if need be, but has bought enough time for Panics to get out of there. It does.
This time, a lot of time was wasted as well. They only just starting to open up onto Attic, and they still need to take care of those ADSs that will be there. So a lot of utility will have to be used as Deepak still playing aggressively right here. Has a very long vertical hole he can potentially use, but the one thing he must worry about is Ruba, who's playing near him. However, Deepek managed to sneak out, managed to get inside the freezer, so Reba just basically holding nothing right now and just chooses to fall off. We'll be going back through construction, most likely joining the rest of his team up near the tower, as that seems where the main spear coming from, as Max is also playing around this area.
Well, as a point of reference, they dropped that shield almost a minute faster on their last attempt on this site, so as he said, the waiting game's been good, but there is the first that comes the way of the sledge that's finally given up on trying to catch the loose man, has instead gone for the pressure that needs to be desperately applied to the site. They swing round to anyone on the top of white, but nobody is currently home. Panics is dug in the usual position, and the walking wall is going to stay sturdy by the looks of it as they instead just try and force their way through onto the site. The smoke canisters cover the windows as Mexis looks for the hop in on the double window. The pings are consistent and they catch the Twitch before she even gets anywhere further. Bodies are falling to the big guns that have the angles. One up white stairs, but no success is found. Gamma put themselves onto map point.
Look like it could be going towards Homeless's side for a little bit here. You know, Reba managed to pick up 2 good frags. Shut down both the roamers. Suddenly it was a 5-on-3 fight on the side. Single refrag likes a Homeless coming through. That leaves us with 2 match points now for Gamma, having the opportunity to put themselves 1 map up in this best of 3. That is to qualify for the semi-final. And that is for a spot of the final relegation match that will be played during the European League finals.
It's not quite over for Homeless, though. They still have the possibility of pulling this into OT. You're looking at the tertiary site in this situation. You're looking at one that you assume it's Gamma's weakest site. So you have some hope there. And then, well, if you take this and Laundry becomes open, you've already taken Laundry once. They have more than enough built underneath them. They have more than enough possibility to fight their way into this. What's changed here is 2 operators we've talked about, and they're finally getting a bit of a run out. Panics is the one with the Frost this time round, but Oh Foster is the one that's 6th pick onto the Glass.
Here we have it. We're going to see Glass in a very important matchup here, of course. We saw it coming down a little bit the previous CL, like in the previous CL days, which was, of course, still the group days. However, not much was left to be decided there, especially for Group B, which Homeless was part of. So we're going to see it now coming through in the actual playoffs. We're seeing the Frost as well coming down, this time from Panics. So it would be fun to see if someone would be getting stuck in those Frost mats. Now, you would expect not to, because they're always being placed at the same position, but you never know.
You never know. That's why it's often called outskilled. It really doesn't take much. Hey, Frost meta. Wow, she's pretty kitted right now. There's one under a potential window, but you assume that's going to get spotted by the Sledge on their approach. They're dug in with the ADSs in a similar positioning to how it was done before. Obviously, no Ella is going to be the match made here. Instead, it's the old-fashioned English shotgun, a powerful pump that can stop anybody getting just the quick swing there onto that corridor. Leonsky has played this before very, very well, knows how to bait the information and intel before, and has had an okay game so far. The worry here is potentially if they burn this and push with the smoke and let the Glass take over, well, that can be very costly. It's still going to cost a lot of burning first.
Ooh.
This could be a worry.
No, they're really worried about someone being up there. Is there someone in T3? Can we quickly...
There is.
Yeah, there we go. I was going to say, so they're really worried about potentially someone being up here. And there is. Avage is playing in T3 with that Vigil, so droning doesn't really work out. And this is where we often say the Vigil comes into play, because you have the opportunity... He doesn't see much now. Foster, however, will, as he of course has that scopes, just spotted out the hand as well, needs to find a shot. The pings, however, will be coming through, and that is for the other player on the opposite side to put down some pressure. The hand will be shot, and Royal will get the kill somehow. I believe that was with an impact. That is T3 under control, but
the
keep in mind
Frost!
there's... Oh, Frostmat! He jumped in it! Right, 20 HP for Reba, nothing too big. You're still with all men left standing. You just have a minute to work with. It's not much, but it's something.
I can't believe a Frost mat worked, but hey, it worked. That's maybe the first time I've seen a Frost mat work in a very long period of time. Now then, this is the pressure we talked about before, a very integral bit of the hard brick and mortar. You have to get a lockdown. We saw a well-placed and played take beforehand. The worry is obviously someone can swing on from the kitchen, and the worry is, hey, you're up against the English shotgun in a very tight space, a gun that is formidable in pretty much any tight space that you can put it into. Foster, in and amongst the smoke, as I said, might be a possibility of the push here, but only really suffers the effect of what is otherwise being pushed and pressed against them. Panics pulls back to get a little bit of a longer eye and an angle here. We saw them pop a 3K, I believe, last time they were playing Frost in this exact kind of situation, or at least the Frost was played by Gamma in this situation. So, with the current coming in, Deepek is the first to shut it down. There's a C4 over the top, there's a blow, it goes too far, oh no! Through the hatch, and oh no, Astro drops Leonsky, and the diffuser is down. What a misplay. Maxis finds Panic, and Deepek is caught out with the push. Only Astro left. And what an unfortunate moment. Finds one, finds almost two, goes in with a pistol to try to confirm, but can't. Homeless put themselves one round away from pulling even.
One round away from going OT. There's a very unfortunate team kill coming through there. Astro ending the hopes and dreams of Gamma of closing it out that round, because if that shotgun would have been able to get one blast out, one person would have died guaranteed. Laundry supply will be the site that Gamma choose to go to. We see the mirror coming out from the get-go. Don't think we might... Oh, okay, yes, we will. And thus, we might see the response with a Twitch to come through again. Of course, we've seen on the top floor that they're capable of dealing with it. But of course, you're going to have to wait for, again, for those drones to come around. No 6-bit coming in, so no Twitch to work with. That means the mirror windows will stay in place. You have to get yourself into a position where you can actually physically shoot them.
Well, this has been a bit of a back and forth between both teams down on this site, and a bit of a misplay was what has pushed them to a bit more success. Ours stepping up currently, 12-7. But you look across the other four, the other split, Deepak and Panics, both of them into the double figures too. So Gamma have been able to manipulate the space. Last time this started, their successful run with a bit of a Mission Impossible movement. And then before that, well, it was a bit of a lockdown for Homeless as they very quickly and succinctly took the control that they needed and pushed their way in. So Gamma, what is the step up in response this time round? Panics drops a drone much quicker and actually rotates very aggressively to find a second two. Wants to shut down the intel game earlier on and make sure that they feel uncomfortable and slowed more than anything on their approach.
Drones being hunted. We're only 20 seconds in. 2 drones taken out on a Homeless. Plenty, of course, to work with. Need 1 or 2 in good positions, and the rest can be used for droning in your entries, droning in your executes. You need to find out where these players are, and luckily for them, downstairs is often a site where we turtle down, where everybody will be on site or near it, because it's so hard to get back to it, especially if a Nomad is on the board, may it be used or not, you never know. Max is getting a lot of information right here from this drone. We'll be proceeding to push. However, of course, that cam should... Oh, it's not even being watched, so they will have no clue now whether or not someone will be pushing. And as I say that, Leonski puts down his mirror window. So they're probably waiting for some pressure to come down from Freezer. And as soon as it comes down, they place it. Otherwise, they keep it in hand to potentially use towards the back stairs. That is my guess.
Vaish has half of his escape done, but is under way less pressure. Astro is able to take care of not only the best statistical player for Homeless right now, but also your ace. They've at least got some backup hard destruction, so it's not quite over yet, but it's a big blow and a big cost. They're otherwise going to have to try and reckon with. Deepak's dug in inside elbow. Still got it locked off and still playing it mobile, but is able to pull back just in time. In minute 20, they've finally been able to push the body out, but they've still got to get through a lot of them now as the swing comes onto the main staircase. There is still no real aggression being applied towards the bodies on the site. There is a little bit more utility burn. There is a little bit more of a cost. There's a man inside, and there's a pre-play C4 that catches one. There goes Foster. There goes Avaish with a very bold rotate. And Royal is able to start pushing up as well. A frag grenade drops a bit too close. We can't get any further, but they've dropped the shield down the far side. 50 seconds is now the way that they angle their eyes towards the default plant spot here. Leonski's concerned about the back, but all the pushes otherwise coming from the front. Astro has it covered from close, with Deepak still having canisters. One less, and the frag grenade is the roll out and the trade out, but it's a big blow towards their hold of being as aggressive as they want it to. Astro could be the money maker right now. 30 seconds if he goes undetected. Panics is the cover on the swing round and the rotate. There's the pop, there's the first, there's the second! And at least the third for a triple kill there for Astro. Loops round to get one more, because why not? Gamma Gaming take the first map, take their map, and set themselves up closer towards those playoffs.
Very well played here by Astro, able to go for one, then peek for the second, going a little bit more aggressive, because of course you're going to get re-peeked in a situation like that, and finishing it off. But we also have to go back to that pre-play C4 of Avaish. All he needed was the info whether or not someone was an electrical. That was the case, and you blow him into pieces. Gamma 7-5, close map, but look at that. 4 members on 10 or above kills in Gamma, and ours doing the work right there on Homeless.
It was a very balanced game from Gamma. We know that they can be good fraggers when they need to be, but Homeless, they played it very, very close, and to say it wasn't their map is a great performance from them so far. We still have the potential of 2 more maps. We're going to throw to some commercials, and we'll be back with the desk momentarily.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You know something was up when Hap is praising a Vice for something. And again, here we are. Geo, Des back on the analyst desk. Des, Gamma, hard-fought game, but still taking it on map 1 Oregon.
Yeah, we were talking around this partway through the map, and I was saying, at the end of the day, after taking 3 attack rounds, I think that's a really good record to have on Oregon. If they close things out at 7-4, I'd say that was a really dominant performance. But for that to be brought back to 6-5 and then to go 7-5, I think fair play, we did see Homeless fight back. I have got a couple of clips I want to go through, actually. The first one, I think, is worth noting from back in round number 7. This one was mainly focused on Panics, a player that has got one of the worst ratings in the competition. He is bottom 10 at the minute, and I had to give him a bit of a shout out here because his play here, and admittedly a bit of a misplay from Homeless, just pushing him into him 1 by 1. He just holds his ground. He doesn't back away, he doesn't get scared off by a flash or make a crucial mistake. Literally a one-man army brings down 3 members of Homeless, all pushing in. Again, maybe a small mistake on their side for all pushing into him 1 by 1, but well played by him nonetheless. No drones coming out of Homeless, came back to bite them a little bit. The other one, I think I've got to side with Hap a little bit here. Got to give a bit of praise to Avish here for showing the patience of an absolute saint. This one comes from round number 9 when he got a really good opening kill and then sat on a corner of a room for about 40 seconds until we hit the 20-second mark remaining. You'll see him step up and do it just here. That's the opening kill. Sits in this spot now for the next, 40 seconds or so, down to the 15-second mark, and then goes, okay, now I spring out, and now I make it happen. The key thing about both of those clips that I've showed so far have been spots where he or another member of his team have not been droned out by Homeless. The drones are missing at points, I think. They've let players get away from things on Gamma that they really shouldn't have been able to do, and Gamma have looked a little bit comfortable. They've got a lot of space to play with, so I think for Homeless, they've really got to start collapsing on that and making Gamma suffer when they try and go for plays like that.
What have been the Homeless problems through this Geo and preparations for map 2?
I mean, the thing is, you know, as you said, the scoreline was pretty decent for them, despite the fact that they didn't win, and they had some great rounds. But what it mostly looked to me like was where the greatness for them really was in individual moments. Even when you look at the rounds that they did win, particularly on the defense, I'm looking at those 2 laundry defenses, which was the only site that they consistently defended. A lot of that came down to mistakes that that Gamma were making rather than something great that Homeless were doing. You know, they kept trying to jump down into E-box. They kept getting the X-Carrier shot off the wall. They weren't clearing out pillar. They weren't clearing out elbow in some instances. And that gave Homeless a really good place that they could exploit that situation. So with Homeless, and you know, you go on their attack and there were, again, some good moments, but it looked limited. For example, when they were attacking onto Kids the first time, they had a decent clear of Attic. They used the Twitch train to get rid of the ADS that allowed them to get rid of the Vulcan shield really quickly, and suddenly that area they have control over. But they tried it again a second time when they went back there, and Gamma knew to expect that, so they had someone sat right in front of the drone hole to get rid of those drones before they even had the opportunity. So I think we just need some more creativity from them and just more willingness to be able to step beyond what they've already done before. If that's what they've tried, there were some good points, you know. I mean, on the they defended on round 5 when they defended Kids, you know, Mexis went on a really good roam. They actually had another roam with Foster all the way downstairs in the basement that shut down Astro really early, and that worked out really well for them. Even when Nexus got droned out, he was still able to get the kill he needed for him to rotate back up to the site. And it's stuff like that that I want to be seeing more of that, and more of them leaning into their confidence, which I think they should have on Cafe, given that they've done pretty well on this map before.
And I want to remind everybody before we head into Cafe that the difference in competitive experience at the top level between Gamma and Homeless is massive. Homeless, majority of the players just came in, played together in post nationals, and here they are, a place where you could be if you're playing in your own European national tournament and qualify to Challenger League. And Gamma Gaming, pretty much all of them have either CL or Pro League experience back in the day. So these are people that have years to look back on versus Homeless, and this is kind of the different level of judgment that they were putting the two on. And still, despite all of that, Homeless are hitting very, very hard. So what are the changes necessary for Cafe Dostoevsky from your point of view, Desetu? Having watched how effective Gamma have been on the attack on Oregon, how do you see this translating the map to?
On the defensive side, I think they were just very well controlled by the side of Gamma. I think it didn't really matter for Gamma. They were like, well, look, we're pushing in here, we're planting in here, whether you like it or not. Mexis didn't really get a look in. I mentioned the second half for them, drones seemed to be an issue. They didn't get onto the drones in the mid to late stage of the round and think, right, let's find out what's going on. Where are we aggressing? Again, I mentioned that clip at the end from Avish. The second point, they destroyed a Goyo shield in the south and didn't know that Deepet was laid down behind it, so couldn't kill him. More information is needed on the attacking side if they're really going to capitalize and make Gamma suffer. So for me, drones are going to be everything.
Yeah.
I guess in my opinion. Yeah,
Yes, I always want to
think
hear your
that
opinion.
Ideally.
again, I'm thinking back to the game on Cafe Dostoevsky that Homeless played against. They played against Kovana, which went in their favor. It was something that people didn't necessarily expect, and a lot of that happened because they leaned into their willingness to be aggressive. I'm thinking Reba getting the 3K directly underneath Red Hatch. I'm thinking when Mexus was playing in Bar and pushed all the way up to Cigar just to get kills when the attacking team had moved into Cigar and things like that. So on this map, it's worked well for Homeless when they are willing to push forward out of potentially their comfort zone to be aggressive. You just got to hope that someone like Astro isn't there to shut you down.
Final point, 2-0, yay or nay?
Yay. 100% yay. Sadly.
Again, I feel like I'm sitting on the fence. I can see it going both ways, but despite the scoreline in that last one, I actually think the Gamma were more dominant than maybe the numbers suggest. So I lean towards a 2-0.
All right, let's see how it goes. Gamma versus Homeless continues, this time on Cafe Dostoevsky. Flap, all yours.
It's us, Flap, the famous birds that we are, and we're ready to head into our second map just by the skin of their teeth. They're able to pull themselves through on that last one. Homeless put up a heck of a fight, and now I guess it's Gamma's time to try and prove that they can lock this off. Cafe Dostoevsky is our battlefield, and well, let's see if the siege comes through.
See indeed how the fortifications will be made and how long the siege will last. As Homeless starting out onto that attack is a opportunity for Gamma, as they're getting clear in chat. I was gonna say, you know, they started out on the attack the other time. It was 3-3. It's a good half. Now they have the opportunity to start out on the defense themselves and get them into a commanding lead from the start. So it is an interesting one. If they're going to be able to put up a good fight here, 4-2 for example, that would be a good half for Homeless still. However, anything more than that, and Gamma should be able to lock it out.
Wow, double ban and a pretty standard Leonsky just rambling. Chat.
Who? Don't do this. Okay. I mean, expecting like you know.
Jeez.
This is going the wrong way. Anyway,
Clit chat.
it is
Clit
Ace
chat.
being banned. It is my being banned. Chat's being cleared, and then we have the last defensive ban to come through. My actually pretty default one. What is the last going to be, though? That is the question. Like a Valkyrie, maybe? Because it is an operator that they really do like to play often, Gamma.
I mean, it works well. On Cafe, obviously, it has the ability to feed intel towards a lot of aggressive movements, rotations. It has the ability to obviously feed into jump outs if a team is that way designed. And they're a team that it could be that way designed. They're a team that does like to bask in chaos. And here in the rotations, as I said, you look towards ways in many, many places you can dig those cameras in instantly. Valk is on the board there in the hands of Deepak, and Bar Cocktail is where we're going to find ourselves.
First sides on the board. The usual, the top floor. Not often we see it go to, let's say, the first floor as a start. Already the frost coming out. We have seen it being successful in the previous round where Ruba got himself stuck in a map. So why not?
The frost for the Goyo is a particular change of pace, because Goyo is very good on this site and has played quite a lot on this site as well. Obviously, you're looking at what you might swap it out for in the situation. Panic's potentially on the mute. Could be a decision, or you drop one of your intel operators between Leonsky or Deepak. Usually the Valk in this situation, because again, Maestro on this top floor with that Alder locking off the entirety of it, putting a bubble up onto the cocktail balcony as well, and just kind of keeping an overwatch. It's great. Here, though, you're limiting, obviously, your shield amount. You sure?
You're only losing one, though.
Yeah, I mean, you get one, but often you'll see, obviously, a team play one inside the very heart of this site and dump one inside the central freezer. You can kind of I don't know. Maybe it's
It's an interesting choice.
it's a
Let's
change.
put it like that.
Yeah, it's a swap. Sure.
They feel like they only need one shield though, and if that is the case, then they better make good use of it. We'll be located at Pixel, as it always is. We'll be backed up by a couple of ADSs, meaning that it will not be that easy. But if I look at these ADS placements, I'm not sure, I'm not, you know, a pro player or anything, but it looks like those might not catch off an air charge before it hits the actual shield. At least one of the two.
Ryber making work of the hatches as he jettisons wood into the atmosphere and looks to see if he can catch anyone down below. Astro, he's not in the most aggressive situation there. Obviously, when skylight pressure might come, he could find himself costing, but is still able to move, manipulate, and get himself to a little bit of safety. Tries to catch the drone. Quite get his escape as cleanly as he originally wanted, and has at least his life and all of his health. And the ability to then try and put this pressure back against Vaish. Rotates around, sets himself back up to take over the hard job of the angle of watching towards the skylight with a very good gun at the moment. And this meta, Panic's prepping a jump out, is to make sure that those eastern windows stay, well, more secure. And it's yet again another waiting game as they are really taking their time to get all this drone intel done here, Homeless.
There's a lot of information out here on Gamma, and just keep in mind there is that one frost map behind the counter, as you see right there in Cigar. I think that one might be able to catch off one, because that is often a desk people jump over when it gets hot, when the pressure comes down. So we've got to keep an eye on that one. Remember that one for later in the round, as the shield has been taken care of, meaning that Gamma no longer have the piano control they would like to have. The question is, has the Black Eye been spotted out? Because if they have, there's going to be, well, a lack of information as well as a lack of pressure that they have as Deepak gets spotted out. Will be running as Foster will not be following up on it yet. So 50 seconds to go and still no entry threat. But Max is he's holding for Deepak. He's waiting and could potentially pick up this kill. This could go either way right here as a shoulder peek comes through. Maxis gives away his position, and that means Deepak will yet again be rotating out.
Well, he's lost his camera on the outside, but he has the eyes inside pillars at least, and they're keeping a firm lockdown on the movement that might be played against here. They've finally got an entrance, and it's against the Frost from deep. As a tour de force on the previous map is able to get one more. Deepak, however, from underneath gets Foster back, and there's the IQ gone. Tried to get control of the window on the second story, but was dropped. Ours gets his double, though, and Astro is the one that suffers this time around. The C4's popped and blown, and oh no, what a misplay from the Ash underneath. Didn't quite get the angle, and now it's suddenly a 2 versus 2. They have no time to try and capitalize onto these kills, so instead got to try and stick the diffuser down and hope that the cover is good enough. Deepak comes from behind. Panics is there too, and they are somehow able pop it off. The cover didn't need to be tested, and a quad kill goes to Ours. Can he find the ace? Can he get this last one? A 2 versus 1. The swing comes through, and it's there! An ace to open the day. The man that was the tour de force of the previous map. He is making sure that this is one that goes into his favor.
Had 10 kills in the previous map, or a little bit more than that. Managed to put up 5 on the board already right now. Definitely showing up huge. Picking up that first round almost single-handedly, able to open up and completely close off the site as well. After a bunch of misplays coming through, 2 people being lost on the bottom floor. Over a wild C4 of Deepak made sure that that plant could actually go down as there was no more utility. Good call coming through, and I believe he actually planted as well. So he literally killed everybody and got that diffuser down. So that's bonus points. But we can confirm that in a second, as soon as we get to see a beautiful overlay again. Because then we have, yeah, there we go. He planted indeed and got all 5 kills. So a one-man army he is.
That's what you want. That's what you need. And what a moment. If we're going to talk about how much sloth showed up, if you missed the Kavana showdown from Monday, well, go back and watch it. It was pretty great. And here, I guess we're getting the opposite side of that. A player from the CIS region is going big right now. I can only imagine the flood of Polska Goroms that are inside our Twitch chat right now. And hey, well earned. The man did everything. Can he keep doing it, though, inside the kitchen is going to be the next question that's posed towards them. And to be honest, with how he's been playing so far today, all I'm wondering is what can Gamma do to stop him?
That's the true question. Or was it a fluke just for this round?
Hey,
I like to say it because you're in
I am
it
here.
right here. Is he going to be able to pull off more of these plays? Or is he going to be so filled with adrenaline right now that for the next 1 or 2 rounds he's not going to be able to have the same impact he would like to have? Panix was thinking about rotating, but he'll be taking care of the drone as it continues driving past these ankle holes. Now goes for a very cheeky reinforcement. Now, that is a bit dangerous if you go for that, and this will decide to cancel it out as well. Some pressure was being put down towards him. But look at his open door policy, you can almost say, or open wall policy. Nothing reinforced that you normally see reinforced. Ankle holes everywhere. Panix able to contest it all the way from Kojak. That's really interesting the way this is set up.
Such a curious way of doing it as well. Obviously, as you said, it feeds the intel all the way through. Panix takes some damage and is going to pull back, but obviously when you're looking at the bans that come through, Ace is gone, Thatcher's gone. That wall is one that's probably going to play much sturdier, so they've kind of handed it over, and this could be the next handover too. They're well aware of where he is. Foster peppers some pre-fire, and Panix unfortunately cannot get comfortable, as he has no idea he's being watched. There's E-Ping, a deadly beast right now in this game, and it's going to keep revealing the location of a man who, again, every angle, every watch, every way, oh no! That's the wrong way, as Royal finds his first for the map. Mexis finds another, and now it's suddenly a 5 versus 3, and they've barely had to do any work other than just find the angles, find the intel, and use the ACOGs.
Really good drone coming out there, able to get that spot down, the one that was so important. But Deepak now with the vertical play has the opportunity to make the change, the one that is necessary, but get some pressure from above. Will be taken down by Ours, who is moving through him to another kill. It's a triple kill of him, I believe. No flawless around here from Homeless, who are setting up quite well right here in this cafe. After, well, back and forth constantly on Oregon, Cafe really seems to be Homeless's territory right now.
From my point of view, obviously I've got a couple of questions about that setup and that defense. You know, obviously it's an idea to have all of that soft and just go for the ankle holes and hold, and it puts you in a situation if you got to win your ones. And to be fair, Gamma are pretty good in that usually, and obviously in the last map, even just today, there were 3 of them in the double figures in terms of putting down bodies, and only 1 across the board. But in a situation where what we see from Homeless all day has been generally a pretty good idea of droning out, generally a pretty good idea of getting intel, and here their stumble so far today has been the utility breakdown, has been getting open the middleman, getting through things like shields, which we didn't see utilized and destroyed too much. They played a good idea with Twitch, but then it fell to bits with just someone paying a little bit of attention to the idea. And that holds specifically against a team like Homeless. If anything, it takes out what their team struggles most with. It takes out the toughest obstacle for a team that can go, okay, well, let's just drone. Then let's drone and react and flick onto it. Gamma, it might work better against other teams that otherwise struggle in those win your one situations, but hey, Homeless, they're gunning so far. Now though, we find ourselves in a 2-0 up position for Homeless. Gamma still rotating sites though.
Continuing the rotation. If I can quickly go back to the last run, I think it really came down to that one drone that had the spot down on Panix, because he was in a power position. If he was able to continue playing Kojak, he would have been able to deny anybody moving through the bakery. However, of course, he was being droned out, pressure was being put upon him, there was nothing he could really do, all because of that one drone. And that is the drone that really started things off. So, gotta give credit where credit is due. And as Gamma right now are 2-0 behind, Homeless is really making a name for themselves here. As Astro tries to rotate out, will be picked up. Ours absolutely gunning like a madman. 8-0 right now. As he picks up yet another one and opens up the scoreboard once again.
Yeah, he's playing like a beast right now, and as I said, the question is going to be, how do you shut him down? Swinging and applying the pressure over the top floor and making sure they push the body down further back. Astro the Jaeger, at least their ADSs are down, you assume at this point, but otherwise ineffective with what can be a very effective gun. And well, they have a beat and a read, and they've blown up Royal at least. The C4 comes in from underneath, and Ours finds himself a little bit isolated for now, but is more than happy to try and see if he can pop the body. They are just dug in on the corner of Train. May have gone a little bit unnoticed They're holding the angle now and waiting. They know if they rotate a little bit more, well, there's the intel, there's the beat, there's the read, there's the chance of trying to fire back. No one catches anyone. The C4 goes for it, rip blown, but misses. Huge amounts of damage done towards them, but otherwise Leonski is dropped in the meantime. There is a Vaish too, and that's pressure coming through onto the site as well at this point, leaving only Deepak and Panics.
Absolutely being picked apart right here is Deepak. He's in a position where he can rotate upstairs if he wants to. Panics is playing around the white stairs, meaning that none of them are directly on the site. However, there is the opportunity to rotate around. It's Deepak right now, holding steadily. It's ours that is already in the side and has the opportunity to go for the plant. The man is a myth, the man and the legend, as he manages to get all the kills and goes for the plants as well. The cover will be there. Foster will be taking him down and sell it to Deepak now. A 1v4 situation. He's considered the best player out of the Benelux. However, the question is he going to be able to get this clutch done? No, he will not. The headshot from the pistol Maxes will come in, and Homeless are able to lock out yet another round. What so far seems a very dominating Cafe.
Halfway there across their attacks, and all of them are theirs. It's been beyond solid so far. The pace that they're applying here against this defense is just apparently unending. And it seems like, obviously, as we've already highlighted, and again, as I'm sure all of you fans in chat have noticed, ours is having beyond a good game. The man is going to be probably the first to break the KOST rating and find himself above 100%, because, hey, he is doing it all. Now, though, we have the possibility of still Gamma pulling this even, at least on their half, pulling some of their defenses back together. They've gone up back to the top floor of Bar. This was the tightest and the closest. This was their best chance so far out of the three. And let's see if they can actually try and remember some of how they were playing before, because these past two rounds across this and the last map have easily been the worst performances we've seen from Gamma, and it's just because Homeless have stepped up so much.
Homeless is absolutely the better team so far on this map. They are completely shredding them apart, no matter what's being brought at them. You gotta remember as well, however, the first time we came here, it was an ace of ours that managed to, well, basically secure him that round. Meaning that if he's not going to be able to do that, the round will already be, well, pretty much completely different. You cannot rely on a player getting aces back to back, as Deepak wanted to go for a run out here. I mean, knows that he's being watched, the cam will be shot, and thus no success.
It's also worth kind of looking at the fact that there's only been one kill from Gamma over the past 2 rounds, so they've suffered. As I said, the stats back up the fact that it is generally the weakest that they've been playing so far. Deepak underneath. He got away with a little bit more than he probably should have when Anash couldn't quite lock down the kill, and he was caught with his C4 up and his pants down, but he was able to somehow find his way in towards that frag, and unfortunately the round then slipped away from their favor here. They aren't going for the clear underneath as of yet. They're applying a huge amount of pressure underneath the skyline.
Pressure being put down. Vaish still trying to hold on to Piano for as long as he can. But surely soon the pressure will be coming down. Last time they managed to take down the shield on Pixel quite quickly. You see that this time it has been placed back a little bit further. This right now will be relocated. This is something Gamma really likes to do. They like to recycle their utility. Just pick it back up when the pressure is not coming down immediately and position it into a secondary position. As right now, grenades are being tossed in, but there is no shield anymore to take out. So utility being wasted. As I say, that Panic's going down to 1 HP by a grenade.
And now it's no HP. As Foster finds the lockdown, the IQ has got herself onto a window, currently uncontested. Always concerned about the possibility of a run out, and a C4 now puts another man down onto 1 HP. Royal, who hasn't been able to really find their way into this game as of yet, almost finds his way out for another round. And there's another potential death here, but it's fallen to a little bit of a stalemate. They're still a bit concerned, obviously, about the movement that's been going on underneath, but Instead of operating there with bodies, instead they're going all in towards the top with Foster picking up the pieces on the far side. Now, Mexis goes for his approach, creeps along long desk and tries to see if there's anybody that might be able to find them. It's Leonsky that gets ours, though. There's a shutdown and there's a response as Mexis finds one more, goes in, goes deep, and goes for Maestro, but Maestro's able to push back. There is the trade. Finally picked up, but there is one more that gets dropped in white, and it's another trade for trade. Royal, 1 HP, 2 kills, 1 body left. Unfortunately, can't quite catch them, and now it's a 1 versus 1 with 20 seconds. They have a limited time to put this diffuser down. Might not know that the rotation's already slipped past. Now they do. As the bullets battle between the bathroom, Ryber's gone for a big rotation round. It's just a matter of trying to stick it potentially as he waits for the play. This is only going to offer him a few seconds to be able to swing this to a possibility as they finally make their way through. It's a post-plant situation and he almost gets caught looking the wrong way, well aware of where he is. And it's the gun of Ryber that pulls Homeless into their 4th round in a row.
Took the cover, swapped to his SMG and went for the chase. As Deepak was faking a rotate. But Homeless able to stick it down, able to put that 4th round on the board, and they're looking to aim for a completely flawless attack right here on Cafe. And with the way they're currently going, that might actually be possible. If they manage to shut Gamma twice more, it will be coming through. This time, it looks like the Frost will not see its plays. Bar Cocktail will be chosen yet again. Gamma chose to opt out of the total rotation that they have been putting up time and time again. And this will be running it back. Gamma, Bar, Cocktail, again. Different setup this time, however. Lucy's coming through just to give some extra small information, I think, on whether or not players are pushing.
Ironic that Ryber was running with the G2 skin, because he's currently making this look like the Damn 1 vs G2 game, as we saw quite recently. There's a joke and a reference for Dez and League fans, and now I'll go back to a game I know. That was the only game of League I've ever watched, comp game of League, and it was the fastest game in history, or the fastest of that tournament in history. G2.
Always there to write history.
G2. 4-0. 4-0 Homeless. Wow, what a performance so far. I know it's a very, very broad statement to make right now. That was the closest you came to losing one. And you're back there again. Last time it was a 2 versus 2. That time it was a 1 versus 1. Gamma finally going to be able to push them over the edge this time round. They have been battling so close, and they're adapting and trying different strats. This time Lucy is going to be the attempt at stemming the pace that wants to be applied down wide. Obviously, this started with the Zafia getting a couple of kills as she pushed all the way around with only 1 HP, able to take body after body. And now look at the pace that they want to apply here onto the top. They're instantly looking towards getting this top control pressure done.
Oh, this is the groove right now. They're in the zone and they want to continue this, and they want to be able to chip ends as soon as possible. Not give Gamma a single opportunity of trying to get back into it, because then you have the opportunity of carrying the momentum over to the 3rd map as well, because that is what they're currently fighting for. Gamma is on a match point. They're not match point, we're on like map point. They need to get this map and they win.
What year do you think this is?
I'm messing it up. I just mean if they win this map, they're winning and they're going to the semi-final. There we go. All right, made it more difficult for myself than it was.
It's not 1st to 5, you know.
No, I know. I mean, not like in this map they're not a match point, but they are like in series 1 point ahead, meaning that if they win the map, they win the match.
Well,
but it
let's
matter.
talk about winning, because if I just got a cheeky double there onto a very dangerous window. Hey, there's one more. Deepak finds Royal this time. This aggression, this attempt at getting a top-down lockdown has not worked in any favor. Wow, ours can die twice without getting a kill. What a surprise that we see. Wow, Gamma, you have a 5 versus 2 hefty advantage right now. They have a minute, sure. They still have a couple of drones and utility and information. They're just going to try and charge their way through, but the zapping is going to cause it, well, more than problems. A flawless Gamma. And to be honest, it's a surprising sentence to say after how sketchy the past 4 rounds have been for them.
This gives good perspective, however, because after 4 rounds being completely dominated by Homeless, they managed to put up a flawless round here. But it's not enough. they need to, unfortunately for them, put up yet another round. And, well, of course, they are on the defense, and normally wouldn't say it's an issue. But if you're playing against a Homeless that is currently being so effective, well, it might become an issue. And they need to make sure to get this next round. Because they will be going over to the attack. And, well, I can almost guarantee you it will not go as smooth as Homeless their attacks are currently going.
Opting for reading instead of kitchen. Obviously, the kitchen defense we saw was a questionable one. It's one you want to kind of, I guess, ask them about and be like, what was the reasoning for having it so open? Mainly out of the curiosity of it's not ever really done. Yeah, people can play those with opens, and people will have angles and holds and ideas from the bottom of the kind of red stairs across. You sometimes have that single reinforced. You can get the angles from inside coat check, or you have a single at the same time of the bakery wall too. No, they went for everything was soft. Everything was open from those sets of two, those 4 walls, the sets of 2. So it's a curious decision, and they don't believe that they can correct it enough for them to go back there, or maybe they're just trying the bait and play and saying, well, they'll expect down below. Here, let's see where they go.
Gamma have to pick up this round. There is no other option. Otherwise, they will have a very tough second half to face. Where Homeless will be on the defense. It's already tough considering they won 4 of their attacks, and, well, you normally need to, really win those defenses. To keep it in their own words. Fortify just playing quite aggressively in the train right here. He's surely going to be finding a battle soon, either from the window or from the red stairs corridor.
Vice is watching and buried inside, but the pace of Homeless has slowed just a tad. They were seemingly growing more and more aggressive across the rounds, and hey, why wouldn't you be? It was really working well for them, and here they've pulled themselves back a little bit. Sure, they've got their bodies starting to swan in, but this time they're going for this bigger, flatter clear, paying more attention towards the angles and making sure that they can catch off Gamma. Now, with the long angle held by ours, he's waiting for a head, or the possibility of a breach of movement and momentum to suffer any of the players against them, but the angle holds, and the ankle holds are going to mean this is a very difficult and delicate transition he has to make. The dance between these two players with the very limited vision is actually going to break away. Tries to catch one and does!
What?
The fade off last shot was a headshot. And that is a tough turn of luck for Avaish.
It looks like the moment he stood up, an un-ADS, he was able to pick up that kill. However, Astro immediately responds to Max as he takes him down. Is also taking a lot of damage right now. We will be a little bit pestered from the top floor, it seems, by some of these verticals. Leonsky is the one to put down some pressure. Astro seeming to go on the hunt right now, but will be called back. Put back into the corner he was playing in before. You need to keep control of the site. You need to keep control of both sides, because they need to win this round. You cannot afford a plan to potentially go down as Panix goes for a little bit of a drive-by. Does some damage, but falls back safely. This was apparently stepping on a drone.
I like that idea where he just popped in and saw the extra drone like, oh, hey. And Foster saw Leonsky and said, oh, bye. Now the pop-up over the top is locked down instantly. Ryber watching around the side of the shield now with 15 seconds. They're trying to stick it in, but it's a 4 versus nobody. Homeless. They went back to their slow and steady drone game. They pinched the pressure and pulled people apart when they realized where they were. And that time, yet again, we see them demonstrating the skill that's put them into this 5-1 situation on their attacks, no less. Now, Cafe, Dostoevsky. Well, the map is set in Russia, and you are making sure that it stays firmly in the CIS region right now. Let's see if you can lock it down on your defense, or if Gamma can find something that they had on the first map that they have been unable to find here.
That's it, 5-1. It's seeming to be very favored here for Homeless, as they are on their defense now, and they're choosing to give them a taste of their own medicine, or like we would say in the Netherlands, a cookie of their own dough. You know, it's a different way. They're going for the frost, is what I tried to say. My question is, where will they be playing that frost? They're also playing a Goyo, so they're going for the 4 shield setup. And they're combining that with the Evil Eyes to come through as well.
Yeah, this is what we talked about a little bit earlier on, is the role that he can play on this site is one that really allows you to expand with those shields. There's usually always one on the pixel situation. It becomes very spicy when blown up. He's putting the one I talked about before down right now, and it allows you to play this a little bit aggressively, swing in, and mean the entrance onto those Christmas windows isn't as easy as it otherwise would be. You're going to pop yourself an angle as Ryber does now, and it just... the ability now to swing in, pop up, cause trouble, cause problems. Hey, is that a taste of Gamma's own medicine, Frost?
That's exactly it. They're using the same kind of frost mats to come through. However, this time there is also synchronized shield placement. Very nice. There is going to be more shields on the board, and that is going to be the deciding factor. Are those shields indeed what was necessary to make this site so much better to be held? There's an upside down repel there on the piano. Surely should be taking care of that frost mat that is located next to that window. That was still up there. Guess Leonsky would be able to see it, but it doesn't look like it, at least.
No, they're playing a dangerous game here. They're going to pop that shield, which will explode into some fire and start to steadily burn them through now. And it pushes them off pixel, but with the body, as I said, watching from the core of the floor inside. That old freezer, well, that's going to be the next problem. As you see them eyeing towards it and keeping an eye on the shield, aforementioned, it becomes such a risk and a danger to swing in. Popping bullets around and hoping to catch somebody that gets a little bit brave whilst you're on the upside down repel, but nobody is playing that game and falling for that trick just yet.
Have to keep in mind, Leonsky is that okay, I had the diffuser, now got taken down. Wait, the diffuser is stuck in the window, I believe. Might be inside the window, meaning that it will have to go on a repel to try and recover it there, as Esther now tries to peek aggressively onto those shield positions. Oh no, it's inside! He actually repelled into piano and lost the diffuser because he got stuck in a frost mat. Oh, that is really unfortunate there, and that means Gamma now have to put all their forces into that piano to recover that diffuser, which will most likely mean that Homeless is setting themselves up to go to match point, or map point rather. They put themselves on an even ground if they manage to win the next 2 rounds.
Foster almost giving a bit of an education there and how to play the Frost, but they're shut down, and then there's the response. Ryber and ours again. Homeless. Map point. Homeless, not messing around. And Homeless. Well, again, any orgs, they're available.
They're still available to be picked up, so to anybody can touch this. No. No? Okay.
No, I didn't want to interrupt you.
6-1.
Honestly, I'm surprised.
Can't touch this according to ours.
Yeah. Honestly,
yeah.
I'm surprised that we haven't seen more all chat yet. Obviously,
it's probably because Gamma is not really doing that well right now.
Yeah.
I can already see if they would lose this series, the first thing that will be entering that chat is you really got a Windows. That will be lived up upon. I can tell you that already.
Yeah, it's, tale as old as
it's
time.
A trademark.
6-1 though. Homeless. They're not going to head down to the kitchen. They're going to play themselves on their potential tertiary, because no matter what way this goes, well, as well have kitchen before, or they might believe that they can bring some aggressive creativity here. The first time we're seeing Alibi on this map in the hands of Foster. They're going to play and bait some of those swings pre-fires. They're holding this in a very similar way as to the way that they took it against just before, the ability to swing inside that site there and lock it down.
Default hatches being opened up, default reinforcements to come through as well. Just a close up there on Freezer, telling you that they want them to be challenged through the cocktail bar, or lounge rather. They want people to come through that choke point. They want them to drop through the skylight, move through the double doors. There's no other way to try and challenge these players right here on the 3rd floor. Foster putting down a shield. R is playing right behind there as well with another shield. And that is setting the narrative right here. They're trying to funnel them into ways that will be beneficial to them. And with the Thatcher being banned and the mute memory being placed on those freezer walls, surely there is no way they're going to be able to open up another angle on that.
Well, Royal is waiting and baiting, and to be honest, the last time we saw them get hyper-aggressive was the one round that they've lost so far. But hey, we haven't seen it on their defense yet, and to be honest, if we go back to Oregon even, we're on Cafe, when they got aggressive, that was some of their best defense. So, they're playing so confidently, and to be honest, well deserved. Now, all honesty aside, let's have a look and see how the approach comes from Gamma. They have every round played. Now has to be this death-defying, death-deceiving one, and Foster's the first to have a little bit of a look. But oh wait, there's a double from Ours, who's still trying to careen his way up the total. Deepak shuts him down. The C4 loops round, Ryber doesn't catch anybody, but Panics catches the diffuser back up. Foster is in a position here to open the close swing. You look at what's been taken out of the attack there. The Hibana is gone. So that's going to make that reading sight so much harder to push when you can't get the Pillars wall open. Just a freebie is handed to Foster as he swings onto the door and takes care of Deepak too. And one more, why not? Another double falls on the top floor. Suddenly a 4 versus nobody yet again. Homeless, shut it down, lock it off. No need to run it back. They're going to do it the first time round. What a well-played map there.
There it is, the 7-1, absolutely dominated by Homeless all time around. On the defense and on the attack, Gamma had absolutely no chance. They brought some innovative or interesting strategies, you must say, where they opened up the complete bakery, every single wall. Didn't really work out. Home was able to shut them down no matter what was being brought. And thus, the very deserved second map win to come through here. So 1-1 in maps right now, meaning we're going to the all-holy decider.
Wow. We'll have that after a very quick commercial break as we go into the final map of the day and an analyst desk. See you soon.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the show. We just witnessed Gamma Gaming.
A murder.
Yes, I don't think this is safe. If it was so bad that what happened on Twitter, Gio?
Well, you know it's bad when Super tweets about it. Is what I said.
you know, it got to that level. But here we are. They couldn't do it. Gio, please, can you walk us through Homeless's run now on map 2? Because I gotta say, it looked like a one-man show to some extent.
Well, yeah. I mean, Ours specifically was really having a good day, all the way back to round 1, where he kicked things off with an ace. That's one way to do it. And then even in that very final round, where he was holding very aggressively in piano, which just prevented anyone from coming in through Cigar, he was definitely on fire and very, very much in his element.
What do you do if you're Gamma in this case? That's like, what were some of the main problems that we looked at? Because when you were talking about Oregon, you said, you know what, Homeless, biggest thing, gotta work on those drones, gotta work on information. seems like they fixed it going into this.
It's wonderful if there's information you need to gather on a team that know how to play the game, apparently. That was really abysmal coming out of Gamma. I don't know what happened between map 1 and 2. I don't know if they just didn't prep Cafe or came into it with no understanding of how it was going to be played by Homeless. They should have done, because it was the map on which Homeless played the best in the regular season. But between rounds of just like randomly pushing for 1v1s, still running around in bar, trying to chase your tail and then getting shot in the head by someone who got inside a cigar in no time at all. 4 or 5 of those rounds were just lost by players doing really random, out of the blue, daft things that no one should ever be doing in a competitive game of Siege. And I think round 2 was the one that Sam Super pointed out on Twitter when they opened up most of the wall of kitchen. I was just like, you just let them walk in and kill 3 or 4 of you without having to use any utility. Like, they've done this literally for free. Like, genuinely, it sounds really harsh to say it was an abysmal game, but that was probably the worst performance I think I've seen out of Gamma, both old roster and new. I don't know what was going on. I don't know why they looked so messy. That was even worse than the Windstrike game, to be honest.
And it's like we saw some, like, slightly more unorthodox things come out from Homeless, specifically on their attack. I'm thinking when they're attacking onto Reading, and they went for a very lateral push instead of a vertical one, which you're more used to seeing. And they still couldn't be punished for that. You know, you think there's a reason why things are generally done a certain way, and you still didn't stop them. It's a problem.
Just to give you an idea, by the way, outside of Deepek, I think he had 7 kills. The rest of the team had 9 kills across 8 rounds. Like,
combined.
Combined. This is not even one person who's getting 1 kill per round and doing really well. This is 4 players between them getting 1 kill per round, basically. Like, you can't be performing like that. Whether it was charging up white stairs, having a shield at the top, and then still peeking around the shield to see if someone was there, or I don't know, Milosh. Coastline has got to be a massive change.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I'll say.
Exactly. Let's turn it to some brighter shores, as I guess this word said. Of Ibiza, exactly. It's not like any of us can go to it right now.
I need a drink inside Coastline. Just to the bar. Christ.
Get Des to the bar. I think we can start that trending somewhere. But yeah, Coastline, complete refresher, right? You go in, you look at both of these maps, you can see the big problems in them. You have to delete Cafe from your mind if you're Gamma. You know, you have to come into this completely fresh. How do you deal with rejuvenated Homeless, ready for a Coastline that can be open to so many aggressive options?
I think you step back into what we saw in Oregon, playing around the executes and going for plants instead. They used smokes pretty well, I thought, for the most part back in Oregon. I'd like to see them go back to that. And I spoke about this at the start of the series, with Coastline being one of those maps where proximity to site, pretty much every single site is bordering on a doorway or an externally facing window. There's no need to get caught up in weird gunfights around Red Corridor where loads of walls are opened up. Just go straight for the site, play for the execute, and rely on that being the main way to get you through this. Because if now that motivation is riding high for Homeless, this could turn out to be a really rough map if more than just Hour steps up, for example, and starts fragging out.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it before, but Coastline is Homeless's least favorite map. They've played it once in the last few months with a 0% win rate, and yet they've banned it 15 times, and that's including both over Challenge League and over the Polish Masters. Well, it could be, because we all know that Coastline's an incredibly strategical map that you have to do a lot of that for. But I think that if you do have the momentum that a player like Ours or Foster, who's been showing up a decent amount, actually can just take off the back of that last map, even if this is a less favorable map here for Homeless, they've been winning a lot of the gunfights that they need to in the last couple of maps, and that's most of what you need to do on Coastline.
Yeah, for me, Coastline, this is all about a vertical play. You can't get complacent. You can't waste time. And yeah, as you say, it does. This might be something where everything's so close to doors that it might work out for Gamma. Yes,
you raise a point there. I do really want to touch on the vertical play. Actually, it's one element I forgot to mention. For the side of Homeless, they were very good at contesting angles that Gamma were holding vertically, looking down. They just walked forward and shot up and killed people. They are very good at this vertical play game, which is why I think on Coastline, this could be a really good map for Homeless. And Gamma, yet again, could find themselves not going into EUL here, in this case in the quarterfinals.
All right, you know what? Homeless win, yay or nay?
It's a real big gamble.
It's looking like I almost want
to be on the fence because we've seen 2 very different maps.
Oh, come on! You've changed your tune.
Excuse me, Mrs. I didn't pick a side for the last 2 maps. You can sit down. No, I'm going to go with Gamma for this one. I'm going for Gamma still. I think Gamma can still do it because again, it's proximity to objective.
Calm down, John Burke.
Jesus.
I will. He's not
dead.
dead.
No, he's not in the house.
To me, he is.
Order. All right, Gio, very quickly.
I was gonna say I'll go with Homeless just to keep things spicy, but also I think they did very well on that last map, and they deserve the credit that it comes with a prediction.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, call up your babushkas. It's time for our final map of the evening and of the series. We go all the way to Coastline between Gamma and Homeless. Please take it away, casters. Hap Fluke.
To choke or not to choke? That is the question.
I like how the throw that Milos does for Jess and Dez is always like, and I throw it to you, Jessitude. And then for us, it's just
casters.
Take it away, casters. Casters, do it. Wow.
Do it.
We know who
Do
the
your
favorite
work.
is here.
Do your job.
Hassan. And now let's see who the favorite is. I don't have Twitch chat open. I don't want it to distract me as I get into this game, but I can only imagine the spam that's coming out across the two pretty rabid fan bases here. Benelux with their own, and the flood of Polska Grom. But Coastline is our decider. All of the games have gone all the way after the 2-0s that we faced on Monday. Well, it looks like the second half of the bracket is really spicy.
Yeah, will we have a complete, well, Group B bracket after today? Or will we have the last hope of A, which is Gamma? We're getting quite close up until Cafe came around. Then suddenly it isn't looking also spicy anymore. Well, it's looking spicy, but for the likes of Homeless, not for Group A. Buck being banned right now. Thatcher as well by Gamma. That is often a ban that will be followed up with 3 ADSs being placed on the Sunrise bar next to the pool entrance door, just to make sure that that player behind the shield will be safe.
Yeah, that little defaulty plant spot becomes a very tight bit of real estate. So I guess the bans that we might see here, there could be the potential of I was literally about to say Valkyrie ban. Literally about to say it. To be honest, I get why Gamma's banning it. It offers a lot of run-out potential, and Homeless, they have been playing very aggressively on their defense when they've been playing best. They've obviously been using that intel quite well too, so limiting what they might be able to run here is a decision. The Buck change, obviously when you're looking at that being banned, it's rare. Nowadays, this is a good map to do it on because it's very claustrophobic, but I couldn't tell you the last time I saw the Buck and the Maestro as the bans.
So it's a long time ago.
I feel like we're in a different season right now.
Are we in season? I don't know what was the season again when Buck came out. Not when Buck came out. That's Black Eyes. But when did Maestro come out? What was it called again? Was with Villa?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to get the name.
I'm trying to remember. I'm going through them in my head, and I get to Velvet Shell, and then I forget because that was the one that changed everything.
That's when everything was Parabellum.
Parabellum. That's it.
That was it. There we go. All right,
sounds like
we get there together.
James Bond film.
Parabellum.
It probably is a James Bond.
I'm gonna fuck a James Bond.
Oh no, it's John Wick, isn't it?
Yeah, it's John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum, 2019.
Confirmed. John Wick, the next operator.
Well, back in year 3, maybe.
No, it's a different game. Imagine though, that'd be... maybe I've leaked... I haven't leaked anything, guys. They don't tell me anything. But it would be pretty cool, though.
The thought, please?
Designers, if you're listening, winky face. Okay, Coastline. Let's talk shop. Kids, well, we're in a situation where it's a very aggressive shop. You're looking at two teams now that need to try and step up.
Black Friday. Sorry, Black Friday kind of aggressive, Right.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'm not denying
continue
that.
Story.
Okay. Well, you've completely thrown me off my rhythm of putting this into the face of talking in a situation in front of a school that's learning how to use woodwork, but the woodwork here is guns and aggression. Foster setting themselves up with the mirror. Overwatch from Aqua, and Panics is going to be the attempt at trying to shut this off. Deepak has an angle here to make sure that nobody gets onto luggage and gets hyper aggro quickly. Look at the man, he's waiting desperately. He wants to hear somebody punch the bottom of that to prep a run out, and then he's going to gun them in the head. But look at this, the first affray coming very quickly. I said it was going to be aggressive, and they're making sure that it is. Deepak was able to pop down just in time and catch Mexis on the roam and rotation away. Now, Mira has popped out. They're going to leave a drone here and see if they can cover the potential run out, but she's actually just round the corner. There's a pre-fire, a swing, and there's almost the cost of what is a very, very important bit of kit right now in the hands of Panics. You need not only the soft destruction, but the grenades too. Hey, Avaish, he's up there and waiting for you. Hey, a Twitch, she's back in action. Let's see if she can do as much in the hands of Gamma. Well, to be honest, she did a bit in the hands of Homeless, and that's a very good bit.
As the mirror window instantly taken out, and the Twitch drone will be conserved as well, able to take out more utility and function as an information gatherer, as ours now has put himself into a longer, more passive angle on this mirror, knowing of course that he can be challenged through it. I believe the mirror window is now being spotted through by the Twitch drone, giving away information as a grenade gets cooked, will be tossed over to the cool vibe stairs. That's a kill, that's a clean kill to come through. Royal completely destroyed from that one, and this is a completely different Gamma we see this round than we've seen over the entirety of Cafe so far, Flu.
Yeah, this is a Gamma that's remembered how to play Siege, because they sure as heck forgot a lot of lessons in their Cafe, but my word, what a pacey opener this has been. As I said before, it was always going to be a quick, explosive map. It is always what these two teams have done well on it today as well, and Gamma are making sure that Coast is something that is going to be in their hold, in their momentum. You throw your minds back to how it opened previously. It was an ace in the hands of Homeless, and from there, all hopes started to die. Usually, if you're looking at a team opening on an ace, it's a team that locks it off, but here, they're looking for the flawless. They have almost got it, and they don't quite make it. Astro kills Deepak in the meantime, but the diffuser has at least gone down in the chaos. A frag grenade is delivered, and the present, well, it's not wanted by ours. Locked out by Gamma. And the first round, pretty much a blowout from their side.
With a blowout to end it as well. Just that last bit of shrapnel able to hit him into the feet. Coming around the corner. Now we have it, round number 1 secured by Gamma quite convincingly. Came down to a 5v1 situation. The diffuse was going down as well. And the team kill, and a good kill on the challenge on the Twitch of Avaish, which is, by the way, using the 417 DMR rather than the F2. Small detail. Avaish seems to be a big fan of it. The 71 damage per shot, meaning you can two-shot any operator anywhere in the body.
Also, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Benelux boy, when they would play Lion, Avaish would play it as well, also with the DMR.
That is true. He will be playing with the 417 because he just seems to be in love with the thing. I'm not sure. The V308 is a very good gun. The F2 is also a very good gun. Now, he's often where you do not see the 417 choice to come through. However, with one of the more recent patches, it's been in for a while now, you can also open up hatches now with the DMRs. It's a little bit of an extra, makes it a little bit more viable. Still not to the place where it gets picked over assault rifles, except if your name is Avaish.
Except if your name is Avaish. Now, if your name's Mexis, you're going to look towards the Lamborghini and see if you can catch anybody that rotates a little bit too hyper-aggressively. You were caught out before trying to slip away and escape, but this time, I guess you're going to try and get the upper hand. Unfortunately for you, no one is there. They're droning the busybodies that are making their way very quickly into Office and Blue Bar. They want to collapse as soon as they can to cut off anyone that might be on the roam and the rotation. Now they have eyes on this, the split down cool vibes. They can watch for this man as they drone him out and try and apply some pressure on the opposite side. Obviously, Avaish is above, and Royal is actually going to slip past as Mexis goes down, suffers a fate. Okay. The man gets through, the Z-pings were there, but Astro was a little bit too late to react. However, well, they were busy catching somebody else at the same time. So, let's say it's a fair trade.
One drone taken care of by Roya, put into a position in VIP to aid potential C4s of ours and himself to rein up and try and secure some kills, especially if Panics will be playing these vertical angles. I can only imagine that Maxis will be holding onto that drone with his dear dad live right now, because, you know, he needs to do something. He needs to watch some chems, and usually the default ones are quickly taken out as Jess quickly flashed on the screen. That was scary. Like, I know it's Spooky Month, but don't know if you had that too. Anyway.
Spooky Month is almost over.
It is almost over.
It's gone by so fast.
Time goes fast if you have fun.
Puppet skins should be allowed inside comp. That's not a popular stance, but it is my stance. Hey, here's a stance they're trying to stack up. Ryber, dug in, buried up, and has the canisters to try and pop here, but with somebody else being popped over the shoulder, you're looking at 2 fraggers gone. Is that the shield caught too? You assume so. No, actually, Ryber was only hit with the stun. Miscounted and mispopped and misappropriated the gadgets, and now he's able to stay in the corner. Foster going for a bigger rotation around the top to try and replace where Mexis was. Hey, there goes the shield. This time round, Ash is doubled up, and the canister's going to buy them a little bit more time, but they need more than just the 15 seconds it can offer. They're already down on 2, I believe. 1 left, and it's going to have to take the stacking up of the teamwork here, but Deepek gets ours, and Deepek gets Ryber. He is on par for the ace, and the diffuser goes down. There is Panics dropped by Foster, but there is a post-plant situation. 4 more bodies in 40 seconds, 10 apiece. That is nowhere near enough time. Hops out, detected, and given the game away. There it is, a Deepak ace.
Lol ace. Watch it. It will be in the chat. Maybe? No, all chat. Oh, quite disappointing. Alright. I was really expecting him to type lol ace as well after ours did it in round number 1. And Cafe, there we have it. All right,
there it
not
is.
quite in the same manner, but he does give it. He does deliver in the end. Anyway, 2-0 in a very dominant fashion so far. Gamma, like only 3 kills coming through so far, I believe, on the likes of no, actually 2 kills on the likes of Homeless, because one of them was a team kill. As our sense back, but you really got a Windows. And Vige backing up on that one. They're really winning these ones at least, as they're currently 2-0 up. And it's a completely different Gamma Gaming from what we've seen before. And I saw a little bit in the chat earlier on where people were like, wow, Gamma's being roasted by Dez. And the response of Sternap was, at least that means we're getting warmed up for our final map then. So, they definitely seem to be warmed up now.
I mean, to be fair, everything Dez said was fair.
It was fair. It's completely true. I agree with everything you said.
It wasn't a great map, and it was the worst that they've played throughout the entire series. And Homeless, it was some of the best that they've played, obviously most notably from the Guns of Arrows. And here, obviously, hey, maybe Sternab was right in a way. A weird sentence to say sometimes. But they are heated up. They're warmed up. Gamma came into this very aggressively. They almost pushed for the flawless if there wasn't a team kill, which I'm sure Gamma leads the board on team kills across all the teams in CL. It's rare to have a game go by where they don't accidentally kill one of their own. But at the same time, they almost pushed for a flawless. They got an ace on the second round. The statistic is obviously, as I said before, we had the opener before. Sloth dropped an ace opener on the map where he popped off above and beyond. I guess let's see if the second round ace is enough to try and step up to those levels of gunning.
Is going to be able to drop a second ace as Astro takes quite a bit of damage trying to enter. Now going on the hunt through Sunroom potentially as he goes on his drone. Hoping to get some information out. It seems like they might be aware of the fact that a player is close to security. As Deepek quickly checks the drone hole, you never know if you're going to be able to find a kill from that or not. As the drone being positioned well by Astro, that is his flank watch, that is his lifeline. You can almost say, not in the gadget, but literally, if someone watches that and he sees the flank, he will be taken out as a result.
Well, maybe the longest that we've had everybody alive so far. Astro suffered a fair chunk of damage, but they're still able to keep themselves standing as Deepek tries to apply the pressure onto the door, where he had such a lockdown and control before. Concerned about Homeless returning to their aggressive roots and swinging on, but so far we've seen them be a little bit more reserved. And as of yet, I guess it's a bit of a break in confidence in what they've been able to take control of and get locked down this time round. They're playing themselves a more cautionary tale, and the C4 is going to open up an angle where he tries to strike. No, it doesn't. It looked like he might have tried to go for the body in the angle just beneath as they passed towards the door, but no quite catch there. That was not a sentence.
I often do make no sentences.
No one was quite caught there. That's English. Wow, they were caught there though. Panics pops a window, finds Foster chilling out in VIP. Unfortunately, inviting all of your friends to VIP to celebrate your birthday isn't quite in the spirit of things right now. So there's the friends backing off. Royal isn't going to try and take the fight, but hey ho, there's a man with a 417, and oh no, there they go! Royal and Arrows and a Panics and Deepek! Flood the top right as we see bodies fall. There is the man that you just saw, and there's a catch. Panics was able to see you 3 for the round. And Deepek, he's in sight.
He's inside, but there is that one little Malusi Banshee going off. It doesn't matter though, because Maxis was in a bit of a gunfight with Astro, who was in a blue bar, and well, Deepek was like, I guess I can come and support as long as I'm not being challenged by that last member that is, you know, fighting with you. And did so successfully. Picked up that kill, and we're currently 3-0 up, and Gamma, they don't seem to be slowing down, and it all starts with that first pick of Panics, just a drone in position, able to find out that player in VIP. A quick punch and followed up by a couple of shots is enough to start things off. Luckily for Avicii, wasn't able to net the kill with the 417. That is the danger when you're coming into close range encounters. Then the F2 would definitely be preferred. But hey, they managed to win the round. Probably not care about that lost kill, lost gunfight, as long as the result is there in the end. Because after a very decimating cafe coming through, where Homeless absolutely murdered you, seems like they have revived themselves, used one of their 9 lives, and right now it's going to be making the best out of it, making sure that Homeless is going to be sent home tonight. Well, actually, that's really impossible. If they don't have a home.
You just
Never
did not think that through.
Being sent back to the bridge tonight. No, I didn't send it through. Think it through. I did send it, not think it through. There we go. Send them back to the bridge. There we go.
3-0, and we find ourselves up in Hookah for the first time. Obviously, blue with a double down in kitchen. So now we're seeing what is for a lot of teams their first broach and approach. Here, setting themselves with the control underneath. Royal is playing the wrong game and trying to limit the amount of drones and intel that can obviously otherwise be pushed and peppered and pressed against them. They're stacking themselves up with the possibility of the trade, and that is what Coastline can be. This Danger Donut is one of stories and threads that crisscross across the map. All of the angles, open holes, and momentum seems to be unfortunately falling away from the favor of Homeless, but obviously, they have more than enough capability of being able to pull themselves back in and try and get some of these precious rounds before they go to their attack, which, to be honest, on a map like Coastline isn't the worst thing. Coast, out of especially the maps that we've had today, is one that can often benefit and very much give a bit of hoorah to the attackers, and there wasn't anything more energetic than the attack of Homeless on the previous map.
Yeah, that was definitely a very good to come through. Defense. And again, 2 very quick kills coming through here for Gammas. Both Leonski and Penix pick up a 1. Avicii then follows up with the 417 as well, and Penix now finds himself into the blue bar. What would the defense? Foster seems to be going to think about a potential flank maybe, as he moved all the way over to luggage, now into 90, moving towards theater. No one is here, however. As Reba wants to go for an aggressive run out, there's no one on the windows. They're trying to find people. They just cannot find anyone. And in a 5v2 situation, meaning they need to bring it back towards equal numbers quickly. Otherwise, this will spiral out of hand.
Well, when you're on the minute 20 mark, there's no rush. Gamma, you obviously got your kills very quickly and very isolated. There was no succession and set up a trade. But hey, Foster's been able to get 1 back. Take care of Astro on the far side, but it's only really the Ash in this situation. Still looking for more potential aggression here. Heard the repel, misthrows a disc, and in the meantime loses another body and loses their own Gamma. Take another round in very decisive style.
Where there was sometimes indecisiveness in Cafe, it's completely the opposite right now. Homeless are being dominated. I'm not even sure how many kills they have on the board now in total, because I believe Des mentioned that Gamma only had like 9 kills in all those rounds, except for Deepak combined. I feel like this might be currently in a worse state here for, you have it, 5 kills in 4 rounds so far coming through. It's not looking pretty. That would be enough for 1 round if they would have all been in the same round.
Yeah, obviously it's the situation where you're looking at how big they were going before, how confident they were playing throughout Cafe, and how much more energy they were bringing to their performance. And here we're just seeing them being picked apart, unfortunately. Obviously, we've seen them play a little bit more of a separate game, setting themselves up, you know, a singular body inside Aqua, then one on the rotation potential around luggage, and then one towards the bottom and the Lamborghini Dory reception area. They all get shut down one at a time. Okay, let's try and adapt that. We're going to put 2 bodies. We're going to double up the Mozzie and the Jaeger and see if those... Oh, no, they both got picked apart. And seemingly they haven't been able to find the solution to the problem of winning that entry, winning that initial excursion, which, to be honest, even in the first map, even in Oregon, where they unfortunately weren't able to take it, they were still taking a lot of those entries, which is one of the reasons that the game was prolonged so much, was their ability to actually win that entry fight, win that entry battle. Here,
they know
it's just slipping away.
The drone came in, spotted the potential spawn peak, something they keep on trying every single round. However, they literally find no one. Not a single bullet been fired towards the spawn in these past 5 rounds. Of course, the 4 that have been completed, the 5th one that's going on right now. Deepback is already inside, but will be taken down as Ours was able to quickly respond and take control again of Office. The feeling someone was inside, came to hunt him down and did so successfully, not taking a single point of damage from that action. That gives them the entry for once. Will it be enough for them to actually secure a round with it? That is the big question. As the Sophia has been taken care of. Deepak, such a star player as well on this lineup, no longer have an impact this round.
Astro, who's generally only been able to get glancing blows at people before losing their life, is, I guess, going to have to step up to the mantle of that aggression with their ability and see if they can be the one that breaks what Deepak has been able to break so well so far. Still droning out and trying to catch anybody that might be above. The hatch is closed, so they assume then that everybody is down on that ground floor. If they haven't got the pace rotation that they need, well, chances are they're not going to be around there. Hey, oh, they're proven right. Everybody is below and beneath them now. A minute 20, and Gridlock is locking down the staircase before they go for any potential approach here. They're probably going to pop it themselves before rotating round. There it is, there it goes, and now they can set themselves up with a retake on Office.
Need to get control of Office again, as it directly puts you up into contention of that blue bar, which is one of the sides. Vach now from above will be putting down some breaching charges to remove the key positions the defenders can play in. Basically cleaning out a big part of the Sunrise bar, except for Reba, who is still waiting here. That's a very nasty angle he's using, all the way from the window, hoping for someone to potentially jump out or quickly just show himself there so he can get a burst in with the SMG-11. High fire rate, meaning high opportunity of, you know, getting some bullets in quite quickly.
Tough to control from those kind of ranges, though. However, he's been pretty good with it so far today. 27 seconds. For our minds back to Oregon, if I'm going to talk about it being the blow for getting the entry, one of the biggest blows was how little time Gamma left for themselves on their attempt to put the diffuser down, and it cost them quite frequently here. They don't have a huge amount of time, but Leonsky, he's free to just move in. Arrows seems to be completely unaware, tried to wait and play the game. Oh no! He was waiting for the 7-second mark to put it into a cold position, unfortunately just caught by the cover. That could have been a brilliant play and would have won them the round. Credit to him, but also credit to the man that was watching for the flank and the spin and the twirl, because now it's only a push and a retake here. It's a 3 versus 2. They have the man advantage, and you can see the bodies heading over the top. They know that they can capitalize here if they get the pinch put perfectly, but Panics is locking it down. Drops Royal. There's a swing. There's a miss. And there's now a 2 versus 1. The last man is inside Office. Leonsky locks it off. Gamma, the 2 bodies, 1 below, 1 above, 3 buried. And a post-plant cover that was so close to the wire and to Arrows pulling it away.
The confidence of planting in a 4v5 situation with 20 seconds left, not executing onto the side. They just tossed the smoke canister, he hit himself inside of it and went for the plant. I'm not sure if Arrows knew. It looked like he did, and he took the risk, and it unfortunately didn't pay off. Very well played there. Like Homeless, they had it under control up until that smoke canister came out and the plant came through, because that was the moment when Gamma, because you didn't see much moving, you saw a lot of calmness still in Gamma's, like, their players. Like, the plant was going down, you still had someone all the way on the other side of the map, just moving patiently, moving calmly. and not making any, hasty decisions there. And that leads them to a 5-0 right now. And even though the entry frag was there for Homeless, a very important one at that, in office, it was the same room where eventually the execute came from and the plant was being covered from, leading to the demise in that round. So, again, very confident of sticking with that plant the way they did, not trying to go for a more complex execute there, just smoke and plant, see what you can get out of it.
I guess for me, as I said, I think Ares knew exactly what he was doing and almost pulled the Hail Mary off there, where he waited and went for the spin at the last second. In hindsight, my curiosity is going to be watching over and seeing the other potential angles that might have been there. They had the man advantage. Did they have the look through and the rotation possibility from inside Sunrise, just on the slip of the bar, and that close wall to pepper bullets through and just stop the plant? I guess they, how thorough was the information on where the diffuser was going down? Where else could they have been to pull that together? And how sneaky, really, was the diffuser? Because at the end of it, well, it was a lockdown and then a lockout from the two remaining players. 5-0. Hey! When was the last time we saw a team get 5 in their half, in the opening half?
It's a previous game, actually.
Oh,
not
yeah.
in a row, but they did manage to get 5. That didn't look too pretty for Gamma, though.
No, it did not. No, it did not, and quickly ended in a 7-1. So, Homeless, you got to start impressing right now, and here's the moment to try and do it. Pull something back from your defenses on Coast, otherwise it will end nowhere. Not impossible, but not easy.
Not likely.
Not likely.
A lot of damage being done to ours. Here you see it. The 417 working its magic. Smoke canister being tossed in. Twitch drone actually trying to go for the execute, but it's not enough damage done. Meantime, however, Deepak will be able to find Foster for the entry. You try to go for a run out on VIP balcony. Keep in mind that ours is also very low. In fact, Study was 1 HP, tried to go for the zap, that didn't work out. Unfortunately for him, would have been quite, well, a thing as well. The last time I saw a Twitch drone kill is a long while ago, especially since they do like 1 damage now compared to the 10 they used to do before. And looks like a hookah setup is currently in the making, because Deepak going from below, entering Sunrise. See Astra already in the blue bar, and Yonsky now coming over with the diffuser as well. It's looking like Gamma wants to end this half quickly, without too much pain.
Royal has been able to rotate in and is going to go for a big swing out now. Just revealed and just caught Panics in the dying throws. A pick back in their favor, but at what cost? He rotates his way aggressively back inside, and Astro is just on the other side. Do they know that they're both currently in the same bar? Do they know only one of them's allowed in? And it's the body of Red that is removed as the firefight comes through. And inside, Avaish, well, he was just in the smoke.
He was in the smoke, but I mean, like, he was like, where am I taking damage from? Because he was moving around, couldn't say anything. It was the gridlock, so as soon as he looked down, Avaish was there with the 417, ended him quickly, and that leaves us at 6 match and series points in a row right now here for Gamma. An entire half for them to get 1 singular round to put themselves up in the semis against M&M. And that match will decide who will go to the EUL finals to play for their EUL spots.
Not over yet. And Foster is going to play the game of Glaz, bring it in almost instantly with Monty to offer them support. The hard destruction is swapped out for the possibility of frag grenades, a very important pick, but hey, probably the most important is the one in the top left, Leonsky. Swapping out the mirror for the Warden, wants to strike back at the potential here of the smoke play if they can keep their eyes on the 4 canisters that are currently occupying the pockets of Ryber and Foster. Well, that surprise strike could be the one that leads their way. 3 C4s are backing that up with the possibility of looping them into a danger zone that you generally know is going to be hotly occupied and contested. This could either go very, very well or very, very badly for that combination of Monty Glaz.
Thing is, you can already see what Homeless want to do. They want to take that pool entrance. They want to be getting control of the, right-hand side corner or left-hand side corner where Astro is currently placing down his ADSs. And that's where they want to plant. They want to plant on the couch, right behind the bomb chassis, as that is the safe spot. So that means that the Monty will probably be taking control of that together with that class. And that just means that a lot of the utility will be tossed towards that side. At least if that is their plan. Because you saw 3 drones standing by there. Now it suddenly looks like they're going to be entering from service entrance. So you got to keep in mind, if you lose this Monty early on, your whole plan will basically fall and shatter as it was standing.
Now then, as they start to collapse in and collapse onto Deepek, who's holding onto the angles. As I said before, this is a map of thread, making sure you have all the eyes and angles and ideas covered. Monty wants to step in and step up towards the kitchen and see what's cooking. Apparently it's just drone information. And a little bit of Deepek, actually, as he's singed by an explosion that comes around the side. Hits the shoulder of Monty. The C4 comes out. There is Panics. There is a Panic spray. And there goes one more and one more as Panics finds a double around the back stairs. Suddenly a 4 versus 2. Gamma shut down. It's really, truly a 4 versus 1-2 as Monty lies on the floor. Foster, it is all down to you right now. All of the hopes and dreams of being able to pull Homeless into just a round, let alone anything further. The Warden is in, and he's making sure that this split entry is his to cover. Now it's official. Glaz, you are the last hope and prayer of a team that may be without a home, and is currently looking like they may be without a hope too, as C4 is ripped, torn, blown, but isn't the end that we see. It's 2 bodies of Gamma that swing up a staircase. You could say they've done enough to make everybody forget Cafe, but for me, Homeless have done more than enough to make sure we will remember them as they look towards the next season of CL. A very good team and a possibly very dominant force. Unfortunately, couldn't make their mark today. But I'm guaranteed that this is not the last we will see of Polska Grom in our Twitch chat.
We'll be back next season, of course, as I believe that this lineup of Homeless has a lot to still improve and a lot of potential to be well spotted in there. And if they continue playing like this together, I'm sure we will see them again in the next season and maybe be more successful than they were right here, because they had a rough start. That much must be said. And they managed to bring it back. They managed to reach those playoffs, and they managed to almost as well reach the semis here. But it wasn't for a 7-0 on Coastline to end all those dreams. Let's throw it back to our desk quickly, though, as a butcher again to analyze this 7-0.
On job, Hat.
I mean, I have to analyze that throw. That